Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Digital Fiasco Live. My name's Dandr0id.
And I'm Jack McBastard. How's it going?
I'm very tired.
You're very tired?
I'm very tired. So if I look disinterested or I start falling asleep, just slap me a little, and
Oh, shit.
I'll be with you in a minute.
We have that on film. Premature countdown? No, our countdown was on time.
Yeah, you were singing it. You were singing it there, so
That's
clearly
right.
it was working.
Exactly. It was very much on time. We were 100% on time. Anyone else who says we weren't on time, just fake news.
Look, even Mame Kill Destroy's on time tonight.
We actually went on a
right.
bit of a field trip prior to us going live. Even though we were on time,
Yep.
we went on a field
We were on
trip.
time even with the field trip.
It's
So.
true. We were scouting out new hardware. We're going to have hopefully some new hardware by the time our E3 broadcast goes live on the weekend.
If Amazon has anything to say about it.
Don't even sore spot right now, man. I tell you. So how you doing? Playing?
I'm done. Yeah.
Have you been playing anything?
Yeah, no. As
Is
far as
your-
games go, it
yeah.
was literally just God of War because I wanted to finish it so I
Okay.
could carry on to other things.
Well, that's important, right? God of War is awesome.
Yeah, and that was the thing is like, it's not like it's super spoilery or anything like that, but I
No.
wanted to avoid people talking about certain parts of it. So
I'm amazed that they haven't spoiled it for you yet. It's been weeks.
I think it's just that it's not on everyone's lips because it's not like a Marvel movie. It's not like you just go out, see it in a weekend, and it's done kind of thing. Like you
True.
have to kind of invest. You have to invest some time and some effort into it and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so not everyone is, just putting it out there and talking about the ending and whatnot. And also, it's
I hear Kratos snaps and kills half the universe.
he kills the younglings with a lightsaber. It's amazing.
I may be confusing that with a different story. I could be wrong.
And I feel that a lot of people, like I would say probably about 98% of the people that played this game not only enjoyed it,
Yes.
but are basically calling it probably a very good chance of game of the year. And I would feel that they would not want to spoil it for other people
Right.
too. So
Well,
there is
hopefully there are those people on the internet that are just dicks.
that. Yeah, there is
Yeah.
that too.
I remember that our good friend Steve at one point, here we used to talk about Jake,
Yes.
the kid who just was a stain on the concept of humanity.
Yep, absolutely.
He actually found out that Jake had not yet seen The Usual Suspects, and because Steve was so angry at him, he spoiled the ending for him.
Wow.
It was cold. It was fucking cold.
That's really unfortunate.
I am
because-
still laughing about that years later. Because it was like out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like, he was like watching a bunch of movies he hadn't seen. It was awesome.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So it's just been God of War to kind of wrap things up and whatnot.
Figured out one thing I didn't do.
Oh, okay.
Jack gets up. Mark it.
Who had that on their bingo card? You should actually have it a few times because it's not out of the norm that he has to go fix a couple technical issues throughout the show.
It's like a free space.
Yeah, the free space is Jack gets up at any interval.
Well, that's okay. I've got a microphone over here, so while I'm fixing stuff, I will still be able to
You
talk.
can just talk away while
That's
you're
right.
over there.
So continue to tell me about God of
yeah,
War.
so
I'll be right
anyways,
back.
so I went ahead and I finished God of War. I finished it on, I think it was Thursday evening or something like that.
Yeah.
And Jay Tanuko says probably show the name, so I don't know if he changed the title or not.
That's what
I know
I'm
we were
doing.
in a bit of a rush because of our small field trip
Yep.
there, so
That's what I got up to do. So
Okay,
thanks,
perfect.
Jay Tanuki.
it's all good. But yeah, so I finished that up, and I was like, okay, that was really good, and it was a very satisfying game, had a great ending to it, and I was
Oh, shit.
I heard
Yep.
you double talking back there.
Yes. Nothing.
Yeah, so I finished it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this back to Jack now because Discount wants to borrow it, and that's fine. And then, for some reason, I think just like a good movie, that the game kind of it stuck with me throughout the evening and into the next day and through the next day, and I was like, you know what? I'm not done with this fucking game yet. So because I was actually surprised, the God of War actually has some great end game content.
Right.
It isn't just kind of cleaning up a few side missions and collecting a few things. There's some actual end game content that you literally cannot finish until you are done the game, and then you can go do these other things because you need to be, supremely powerful and whatnot. Just like you were saying with the Valkyries and everything like that, Jack.
Right. They are not easy.
No, they don't fuck around until you're level 8, and then you fuck them up. Except for 2 of them.
Well, you do if your armor build is right. I kind of screwed mine up, so it was a bit tougher.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I went full like brutal mode. Like I just went like full on attack.
Yeah.
So he can crush them pretty good. The only ones that really gave me any sass were was the Helheim one and the final one, like the final boss or whatever. But I mean, that was to be expected because you already said, yeah, watch out for that one.
Right. It's not. Some of those Helheim ones are actually pretty ingenious, actually.
Yeah. Like it was just like through and through. The game is pretty ingenious just in how it handles a lot of things. Like
Right.
I was saying last time when we were talking about like how I was playing it and playing through it and everything, that a lot of the puzzles feel just very natural. Like they don't feel like, okay, here's another fucking puzzle room.
Right.
Like it makes sense for the most part where they are, or like how they act and everything like that. So I really, really enjoyed that. Of course, the graphics were just on point throughout the entire game. The whole game just looks absolutely spectacular. And like I was saying, like I kind of like lost my way a little bit, like in the early game.
Yeah.
But once you get going and you really start leveling up and getting all those, like just getting all like the crazy armor and you know weapon upgrades and stuff like that, it gets pretty fucking insane with some of the combos you pull off and everything. I think one of the things that I was missing out of the whole combo system and like the fighting system, and I'm sure they'll clean it up in the second game, is what they tried to handle in Devil May Cry and the DMC game was fighting between multiple different weapons to build combos.
Oh, okay.
And God of War is unfortunately a little bit clunky when it comes to that.
They've never really had that, have
No,
they?
but they haven't. That's the thing, is that God of War has always been really good at like having kind of multiple weapons to deal with, but it was never about stringing those combos together. But in this one, it's like if you got it just right. You could, and it felt like really good to pull that off.
Yeah.
But that must have been not like kind of in their ideas, or they were in a second string of ideas, because there's no fluidity between him changing weapons and stuff like that, and it's kind of unfortunate. But
in some of the later games, you could, I think they were like mapped to the D-pad, and you could swap between them, but it wasn't typically like in the middle of a combo.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like when I was playing it, because my sensibilities of playing like a Devil May Cry game and stuff were kind of coming back with having like air juggles and all this crazy shit like that going on. And I was just like, I wanted to switch and I wanted to do all this stuff, but I was like, okay, they'll probably fix it in the next game, because you know it'll take them a bit to work out the newer systems and everything like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's an insanely good game. It's
had to find something to pick at, right?
Well, no game is perfect. No, like even my most beloved games of all time, they are not perfect.
Right.
So
Alpha Protocol is perfect.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. I think you can go back on record and see how many times you've nitpicked that game, even though you do thoroughly love it.
It's true. I mean, basically, at the point at which you enjoy a game thoroughly, you got to look for something and go, okay, except for this.
And it's, you know, I'm a bit older, a bit wiser, and I understand that no game is perfect, and it's kind of nice to see, like, where its strong points are, but where its, you know, shortcomings are, and then seeing if they fix those in the next game, or if it happened for a specific reason or something like that. So with this game, I think any kind of nitpick what? Where are you going?
Nothing?
Okay, you go do nothing. I think most of my nitpicks for this game actually came out of the fact that this is the first time that these guys have ever done a game not only of this scale, but of this style also. Because if you think back to the previous God of War games, they were very cut and dried in what you did. Like how you... how you traverse the environments, how you fought, like how the boss battles went.
Hold on a second.
Yes.
The Order was of this scale. It just wasn't as good a game, or a good game.
Okay.
So the Order it looked really good, and it was an all right game, but it was big. I mean, so the studio's done big things before. Just like this just happens to be the best one that they've done.
Because I mean, you think back to like all the other ones, and they were never this really kind of open world hub kind of thing going on and stuff like that. So that's why I'm like saying, like, a lot of the nitpicks that came from my end of things, they came out of they're figuring this shit out, because it's the first time they've ever built a game of this scale and of this style. So
Troy says my movement was so slow I was almost invisible. Drax would be proud.
Yep.
You can't see me. such a funny fucking
We've been
scene.
standing there for an hour.
Batista has such incredible comedic timing. It
I really
kills
hope
me.
they use him more, like
Well,
just further projects.
Well, after the first one, it seems that they used him a lot more in the second for comedy.
No, it is other projects too. It
Yeah.
doesn't just need to be Marvel at this point.
True.
The man
All right.
can act, so let him play.
All right.
But yeah, so I'm done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I
Excellent.
didn't do everything in the game, but
No.
I got my mileage out of it and had a ton of fun with it. And yeah, it's definitely up there for a choice for Game of the Year.
Yeah, it's probably right now in the lead, and I mean,
In a lot of people's books, it's not just us,
Right.
like everyone across
Yeah.
the board. Like you look at anyone that was waiting so much to play this game and stuff
Right.
like that. That's basically their next tweet or their next Facebook post. It's like, this is
Yeah.
Game of the Year material.
so Red Dead 2 has really got to shine so that
And
we
not
don't-
be crammed full
Well,
of loot boxes.
I know, but I mean, just so we don't look like massive Sony fucking fanboys, because that will be, if this is Game of the Year for this year, that'll be the third year in a row we've
But
given it to a Sony exclusive.
One way or another, you can't argue the powerhouse that is.
I know,
I mean,
I know.
it's and you love the Red Dead series.
I
so,
very much do. So it's
yeah.
it's very likely, I would say, that it's going to be better.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, Rockstar, right? They always knock it out of the park. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. But yeah, we look like huge fucking fanboys. I'm just saying.
Hey,
Anyway.
we can't knock Sony for having exclusives. They're
mean,
trying to make new games.
That's true. That is
Unfortunately, Xbox just isn't doing that right now.
Well, they are. I mean, you got State of Decay 2, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later because they have some interesting stats to share with us.
Oh yes,
They do.
are they engaging?
They are highly engaging, incredibly engaging. So anyway, I'm still playing Detroit. I am actually working with PowerPix.
I was going to say what are you on your third or fourth playthrough now?
No,
or-
what we are doing
Mm-hmm.
for the wiki is we are getting 100% of all of the flowcharts.
Oh my god.
So each one of us is doing a single character.
I have a question to ask you.
Yes.
With God of War and,
Yes.
and PowerPix, did you do the videos for that?
Oh no, he did all the trophy videos.
Oh,
I
okay.
did a video in advance.
Because I watched one of his videos to figure out where something was, and I was like, "Oh wait, I wonder if this is Jack's video or not."
No. He does all that stuff. It's his full-time job,
Okay,
right?
yeah,
So it's been a long time since I've had a chance to do like full trophy guide videos. So it takes a lot of editing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, he does some really good work there. So check that out at powerpix.com. So I've been playing Detroit. We're doing like 100% stream, 100% of the flowcharts. And I mean, you get to a certain point, there are so many variations that it's like, this guy needs to be dead. This guy needs to be dead in this room, and then
Yeah.
he needs to be dead in that room.
Oh wow! So these people can die in
Yes.
multiple different
Yes.
points and places and everything.
And then it's like he needs to be shot but survive, and then he
Oh my
needs to be, and he needs to escape, right? And then you come in as Connor, and you're like examining this crime scene.
Right.
So it's not like you just have to, you replay the same chapter over and over. You have to play like one chapter back, 2 chapters back.
Yeah.
And
then do it again.
right. So like the last time we're up to chapter 24 was the last one that I did personally for Connor.
Yeah.
And I had to do that. I was doing it for 7.5 hours on Saturday
Oh my God.
for one fucking chapter. So I'm starting to hope that we never have to do this particular type of wiki again. It
Well,
is
I mean,
nuts.
honestly, those games are very few and far between. So yeah, you won't see anything of that caliber for
No.
quite some time.
And also, I mean, not many games like to have the balls to pull back the curtain and say these are all your choices, and
Yeah.
you just see like how many fucking branches there are. It is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one in that level. I just happened to do it right, but
Yep.
it had a choice that went back to the very first scene in the game.
Oh really?
If I had not done that right,
Yep.
I would have to basically replay from the beginning to be able to get all the way through. And it's like, oh my god, like. Ooh.
So you're gonna know this game
Yes.
front to back then,
Oh,
or
yes.
at least for Connor, anyways.
Oh yes. Well, I mean, yeah, I haven't done the other ones, but I basically know sort of the flow of it. But yeah, it is. There's a lot of different variations to it. To keep it fresh and interesting, and it makes it feel like you're a story. It customizes it to you in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
so.
no kidding.
Yeah, but on top of that one, the one I really spent the time on this weekend on Sunday was one that we had talked about last week called Moonlighter,
Yes.
which is a indie game by 11-Bit Studios, and it is basically a game where it is picture Zelda, right? except at night.
Like the Super Nintendo one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, or Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, whatever.
The pixel like ones, though, not the
8-bit ones. Yeah. But anyway, so the overhead point of view ones, Link to the Past kind of thing. So at night, as Link comes back to town, and then with all his shit, he puts it out for sale, and you are selling stuff, and you have no idea what anything is actually worth.
Mm-hmm.
You just put prices on stuff, and you rely on people's reaction to figure out, like, okay, how much can I sell this for?
Okay, so does it get to the point where you can, like a townsperson will walk into your store, and there'll be like a magical floating sword sitting there, and his eyes will literally like bug out of his head, and you're like, oh wait, I gotta change the price on that first. Like, is it?
No, you pretty much, once you set the price and he goes to buy it, you're like, oh, I fucked up on this.
Oh, okay.
And there's trophies for selling stuff at the right price for ridiculously low, like way less than it should be, and for gouging people horribly.
Okay.
So it's like literally they pick something up and it's like, they pick it up and they take it to the cash register. It's like, okay, that's a bit too much. And it reduces demand for it overall. So popularity of a thing actually plays into it. But yeah, it populates in a book. So you can actually, right away, like what you can get away with. And it populates the price automatically for like a good value.
Oh, okay.
So once you finally find out the maximum you can possibly charge in that good value.
So you gotta, like, do you have to sell 10 swords before you know what a sword is worth then?
Sometimes. Like you don't want to sell, like, if you have a stack of shit, you don't plop it all out there and go, oh yeah, 10 swords, go nuts. It's like, oh, $20. That sounds like a good deal. And
10 for $1.
Right. It's like, wow. And their eyes light up with gold.
Yeah.
And it's like you get the reaction over their head, and it's like gold
so they do
spinning in their
have a
eyes.
physical reaction, though. I like that. I like that they actually have that in there.
And then there's thieves and shit that come into the store. And you have to tackle them before they just shoplift stuff.
Do you get to shank them before they steal your shit? Or?
You don't actually do that, but you tackle them and you have like a fight, and then they fuck off and you get your stuff back. So eventually you can upgrade your shop, you get more and more displays, you get different like displays that have effect, like how much money people like tip you and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it gives you like extra
Your
coin.
store looks nicer, people pay more money.
Yeah, or they spend more time in the store, or they move faster and get the fuck out of the way, things like that.
Cool.
And then the actual dungeons, there's 5 different dungeons, 4 of which you have to beat before you can unlock the final boss. And each one has its own loot table. And all your weapons and your potions and stuff all have ingredients from the various different dungeons. So it's kind of an interesting economy. You have to build up this town. You bring in other shopkeepers that sell different things.
Okay.
And as you get more,
but they're
and more
their
people
own
in town,
entities, though. You don't manage all that shit.
No. It's just basically they're another shop that can go and buy and sell shit.
Okay.
Like there's like an enchanter and a potion maker and an armorer, and there's a guy who sells stuff for your store to customize it. And then there's a one guy that just sells basically shit that you've already sold.
Okay.
So everything you've already sold, if you need it for something, you just buy it from him for like an inflated price.
Right.
So at some point you have so much fucking money, it's like I could go into this dungeon to get 15 of whatever this is, or I could just pay this guy like 10 times more than it actually was, and just save myself the time. So that's fine. Prefer Maybelline highlighter to the quickening?
I don't even know what they're talking about in chat here now.
They're talking about Call of Juarez. They went back. Alpha Dead Protocol. Okay, wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'd play that shit, man. I would play the hell out of that.
Said Jack would pre-order and buy the season pass.
Right. It is not Call of Juarez. If you refresh the stream, if the stream title is still wrong, if you're just making a joke, then fuck you. I mean, but yeah, Michael Jackson's Moonlighter. No, it would have bubbles, and you'd have to grab a star to turn into a robot. That was a fucked up game.
That
man.
really was.
It really was. But anyway, Moonlighter is available for PC, for Xbox One, and for PS4. Highly recommend you play it. It's a $20 game. Lots of fun if you like that kind of... And it's a roguelike, so every time you go in, your dungeons are different.
That always adds that value to it.
Yep. All right, so this is it. This is the last week.
Yeah.
This is episode 30 of Digital Fiasco, where we talk about all the latest news in PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and PC gaming. And this is E3 week, goddammit.
Yep.
Starting this Saturday.
It's finally here. It's like
it is
fucking
finally here.
Christmas 10 times over.
It very much is. It's the Super Bowl for people who don't know what football is. Football is a sport. Go Packers. So we will be covering Digital Fiasco. We'll be covering E3, live commentary, instant reactions, chat for everyone, starting this Saturday, June 9th, June 10th, and June 11th in the evening for Sony. June 9th is EA. We will be covering EA. We have confirmed this. We have No Beard. He's going to be here in the studio.
Yep.
I'm going to be here in the studio. Are you going to be here in the studio?
I'm going to be here physically. I don't know about mentally.
and you know, if we ask real nice, maybe we'll have discount on the couch to prove that he's not, like, proof of life. He'll have to bring like a today's paper and like hold it up so that everyone knows he's alive.
Also, I mean, he'll probably just pop his head in because we actually have Maim Kill Destroy actually wanted to join us for the EA one.
Really?
Yeah.
For EA? Only if he promises to behave.
Well, I don't know.
Well, he's not going to be here for the fucking Microsoft one.
There you go. That says it all right there.
Sucks. God damn it.
All I know is he said he would love to be on the couch for a bit of whatever.
All right.
So we'll try to figure out some scheduling there.
Might be better off to come on Sunday because there's more to see on Sunday. Although that will be the Microsoft show.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway,
As long as
Saturday.
he can behave himself.
Saturday, the only thing EA wanted the whole fucking news cycle to itself for 24 hours because they're the big bloated, doddering.
And they'll have all of 2 games to show us.
Well, I mean, as long as they show Dead Space 4.
Unless you send them a ransom note that you have the president's daughter or something, it's not going to happen.
Need 2 bad dudes to save her.
And he'll buy you a hamburger.
It could happen. Anyway, so EA is at 1 o'clock Central Time. June 10th, Microsoft is at 3 p.m. Central Time. Bethesda at 8:30 Central Time. I don't think we're covering Devolver because it's at like 10 o'clock on a Sunday night.
It's also a pre-recorded show, so we'll have some reactions to it the following evening.
But you might want to watch it anyway because it is going to be fucked up.
Yeah, they always put on a good show just because they don't give a fuck. They will just put on whatever they want.
Last year was like it was directed by David Cronenberg. June 11th, there are a few shows that we're not actually going to be covering since they are on during the day. Squaresoft at 12 p.m. Central Time. That's a pre-recorded event. They don't actually have a physical venue. Ubisoft will be at 3 p.m. Central Time. We will talk about that in the PC show at 5 Central Time in the pre-show for the Sony show, which is at 8 p.m. Central Time on Monday. That is June 11th. There's also apparently a Nintendo show June 12th because they don't understand how E3 works.
They're off in the corner doing their own thing. It's how they always work.
They're building something out of fucking cardboard and Lego. All right. So I was looking over the disc downloads and DLC for this week.
Yes, sir.
It is bleak.
A little bit, but there are a few extra titles in there.
I found one that was worth talking about. I'd be curious to hear what else you have.
Okay, so here we go. So this is the Triple D, the disc downloads and DLC. First off, there is the one that we actually have the review code for, which is Vampire.
Yes.
I have not seen anything on this yet because of the
that is out tomorrow.
The embargo on everything. So we're going to find out soon enough that it's either good or bad. So.
We will find out that it is out tomorrow.
Yep. So Vampire, available for PS4, Xbox One, and I believe PC also. So that's the third-person shooter slasher vampire game
from Don't-Nod, the folks who brought us Life is Strange.
Yeah.
And Remember Me.
So we'll see how they kind of fare on that because they spent some time on this one and they've done Life is Strange, which is an interactive story, and then Remember Me, which is a third-person shooter beat 'em up kind of game with some questionable choices in it. So we'll see how they...
mechanically Remember Me was not great.
Yeah. But, so we'll see how they fare on that front. But again, it doesn't look great if they have the embargo up until the release date.
Well, you haven't actually played it, right? So
no.
You don't know?
No, I have no idea. Okay. I don't know if you've played it or not.
I know that it's out tomorrow.
Okay. Jack says it's out tomorrow.
That I can confirm for you.
So, another one that a few people have been waiting for, I know Jack has been eagerly awaiting this one, is Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. This is the side-scrolling beat-em-up based on the horrendous Super Nintendo game Shaq Fu of the same name. Except this one is done in like an animated cartoon style for some odd reason.
Oh my god.
And Shaq is like completely behind this one.
Oh my god.
Like I think he actually put money into making this and whatnot. So
you know what's hilarious is that back in the day when I was working at that video store,
right,
like in my university days,
mm-hmm.
Shaq Fu was one of those games that everybody would rent and would trade in like almost immediately because they had to know, and then they went, "Oh, this is terrible."
No, it's as bad as everyone says
yes.
it is. Yeah. It's not a great game.
Not a great.
This one, honestly, I would at least give this one a try because I do like the beat 'em up genre, and it looks like they've they not only poke fun at themselves, obviously, but it looks like they put more thought into this one. It wasn't just a quick 90s cash grab on like, hey, this guy's famous, let's just put him in a game, and then that's it. So,
yeah.
but either way, so that one comes out on Tuesday.
Well, it wasn't the cinematic over that Night Trap was.
No, of course not. But then again, nothing really was.
Yes.
And of course, on the PlayStation side of things, we have PlayStation Plus. So if you're in on that, your free games this month are, of course, XCOM 2, which is amazing because I have not played that one yet. So I'm super stoked that that's a free one.
Yep.
And Trials Fusion, which I'm actually also excited for, but that's because I love the Trials games because, I don't know, I've just always loved those like little crazy dirt bike games.
It's
and
like, modern generation Excite Bike.
Yeah, basically. It's, the whole balance factor to it and
Sure.
a bunch of like puzzle-like levels and whatnot. So that's awesome. I'm glad that they're giving those ones away.
Right.
And then Games with Gold on the Xbox side.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
You also have on the PS3 Zombie Driver and
Right. Yes.
Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Future Soldier, the longest unnecessary title in the Tom Clancy line.
Is that the longest one?
I can only imagine. Ghost Recon Futures? I think so, yes. It's the worst one anyway. We'll go with that. Atomic Ninjas for the PS Vita as well as Squares.
Ooh, Squares.
Yes.
I love that game.
It's definitely full of squares. Also for the PS Vita. I don't think either of those actually does crossplay.
Okay.
So, Games with Gold.
Okay, yeah, and then Games with Gold on the Xbox side of things. On Xbox One, you're getting Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia and Smite the Gold Bundle. So I'm gonna guess that just comes with some of the extra stuff because it is a free-to-play game. So I think it's just some extra fundage to spend within the game. And on Xbox 360, you're actually getting probably the best rival there ever was to Mario Kart, outside of Crash Team Racing. That's Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed.
Cough.
And Lego Indiana Jones 2, The Adventure Continues. So just another Lego game for you.
I mean, Lego games, pretty much, you've played one, you've played them all. At a certain point, it's
you pick your flavor and you go with it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think the Batman ones are still my favorite ones out of all those.
Yeah, them,
especially
the Marvel
the
ones
third
were good.
one because it was more of an open world kind of situation, not
Actually,
just level to level.
Actually, kind of enjoyed the Pirates of the Caribbean one.
I haven't actually played that one.
It was kind of entertaining. I mean, it was all stupid, like entertaining, like the actual movie.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was good, clean, childish fun. So all right, so let's get to the fucking news.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of news. Not really.
No, I was going to say, I don't think we have a lot of news because a lot of the news is going to come up with E3 actually happening.
We've got a lot of tiny things and then a few major things.
Okay.
And it's like all the E3 stuff is going to be way at the end.
All right, shoot.
All right, so let's talk about, you remember Evolve?
Of course.
Yeah, how that game was awesome.
And shot itself in the foot from day one, I sure do.
Yeah, how it had shit tons of microtransactions in the store day one before it was even...
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and call it egregious.
Yeah.
Almost to the point of that fucking train simulator game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're talking thousands of dollars.
Worse.
Yeah, like, it's up there.
Yeah, so anyway, shockingly enough, Evolve didn't really do so well, and after a while it went free to play. And now it's confirmed that they're shutting down their servers.
Free to play to DOA.
Yeah, pretty much. Free to play to DOA, A-OK. Fuck. Anyway, so dedicated servers will be shutting down September the 3rd. So peer-to-peer multiplayer will be around for what they call Legacy Evolve. I don't know if anyone has played Evolve. I don't know what that means. I don't care to know what that means. The free-to-play version of Evolve Stage 2 will end along with ranked hunt mode leaderboards in the in-game store. It was a bad idea from the start. The whole asymmetric multiplayer never worked properly. And I don't know. I think...
It wasn't bad in Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
But Left 4 Dead, they didn't try to do a lot with it.
That's right. Tron was playing Evolve.
Oh, really?
I think he tried to convince me to buy that way back in the day.
How unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, he also tried to get me to play Destiny 2, but I think that would have been slightly
that was DOA.
Yeah,
you weren't going to buy into that.
No, Evolve was just not great. Not great. I played the beta, and it was like, wow, this is so far off, just not even remotely close. So, yeah. Alas, per Evolve, we hardly knew you.
Yeah.
Burial at sea.
Well, you learned your fucking lesson, or at least I hope you did. Don't fucking smack your game full of microtransactions and loot boxes.
No.
Because people won't fucking buy it.
Oh, on the contrary, you have to have a good game full of microtransactions so that you can make $300 million in April.
You have to have a passable game, but has the eye of the children in it. That's the important part.
$300 million in April.
Because why did Forkknife make so much money, whereas PUBG is still just kind of hanging around? Because Forkknife looks like a fucking Pixar movie.
Yeah.
So all the 12-year-olds that play it, they fucking love it, and they can customize their character, and they look all wacky and shit.
And you know who wants a piece of that $300 million?
I'll take 10.
PUBG wants.
Of course they do.
A shitload
Is
of
that
money.
the next thing in the news?
They are suing
Yep.
Epic Games.
I know.
According to the Korea Times.
If I had hair, I would have pulled it out just hearing this news because it's so fucking dumb.
It is and it isn't. So according to the Korea Times, South Korea's Pubg Corporation, which is the Bluehole owns Pubg. Pubg is, of course, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. They're suing Epic Games for copyright infringement. So Epic is the developer of Fortnite. The lawsuit was filed back in January, but it's just being made public this week. Pubg Corporation is claiming that Fortnite's popular Battle Royale mode copies PUBG's interface and in-game items. So we all know you can't copyright an idea, a concept, but things like UI, things like graphical elements, you can copyright all of those. And, if there are similarities or they're similar enough in the trade dress, you can definitely be sued and awarded something. And I mean, even if it's just enough that, the settlement is sealed, this person can say, "Oh, we won," and feel smug, and their investors will be happy. But you never know. It was a remarkable similarity in a few ways.
Yeah, I mean,
there is definitely enough different that they have a case to argue, but PUBG wants a piece of that $300 million.
But they want a piece of everyone because they're losing out, and now they're trying to sue their way back into the marketplace. And it's kind of sad now.
When you say losing out, they're still making money hand over fist. I mean,
but they're not making $300 million in April.
That's true. That is. But who the fuck is?
No, nobody. Not even Marvel's making that kind of coin.
I mean, definitely not with as little cost that goes with that revenue.
Exactly.
The GP they have must be fucking insane. So anyway, PUBG runs the Unreal game engine, which is maintained and developed by Epic.
Yep, which is just hilarious.
Interesting. And both companies, here's the weird thing, both companies have had massive investments from Tencent. So really, Tencent's just going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, calm down, you two.
It's like, wait a minute. I own a PCU. I own a PCU. Fuck it.
You built their engine.
Right. As long as you own the same amount, it's like it's just you're moving it from one bucket to another. They don't give a shit. All right. So, speaking of stupid ideas, the Atari VCS. It went on Indiegogo last week. We talked about this months and months ago.
Oh, I mean, way back, like when we just had a picture of the thing, and they said Atari's making a new console. So.
Right. So now they've actually launched it for pre-sales on Indiegogo.
Right.
They have already raised $2.5 million.
They blew past their initial. I think they wanted $1 million.
I think it was $200K.
Was it 200? Okay.
It might have been $100K, but it was like way less than what they actually have gotten. So they have some actual specs of it now.
Good. That's the core thing we wanted from the start. It's like, you can show off this fancy little console, you can show us the controllers it comes with, and you can say that it has this virtual console of all this Atari shit, but what are the stats? What can this thing do? What's it capable of?
Yeah. So that's the takeaway from this. Stats are important.
Thank you. Cheers to that.
Yes, some new additions to the soundboard. All right, so the VCS runs on Linux, has 4 gigabytes DDR4 RAM. It actually runs a Radeon R7 GPU. It'll support 4K Atari games. Let me just repeat that. It'll support 4K.
Those are going to be the most crispest pixels you've ever seen in your entire life.
Right. It'll support HDR. Okay, anyway, obviously it's not for the Atari games. They want to bring other developers in.
Yeah.
It'll support 60 frames per second content. It has onboard and expandable cloud storage options, has dual-band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0, as well as USB 3.0 support. It will come preloaded with 100 plus, so
101.
Between 100 and 110.
It'll be 101.
101, yeah. 100 plus classic Atari games preloaded on every VCS. So that's the good news.
Mm-hmm.
The bad news is I went to their Indiegogo page. I went looking at their press releases. They have third-party developers.
Yeah.
I don't know who any of them were. You could have put in 5 developers that they made up. I wouldn't have been able to pick them out of that fucking lineup.
Okay, so what it seems like then is that they went low from the start. So they're dealing with indie developers from the ground up because they're the ones that are going to be like, hey, your game can obviously run on this thing because
Okay.
it's not a like top tier computer.
Sure, but there are indie developers that you would recognize, right?
Oh, yeah,
the
absolutely.
Devolvers, like 11-bit,
Tiny build.
tiny build, right? So anything like that. I'm going to go down the list. You stop me if you recognize any of these and can tell me what they've done.
Okay.
Eden Games, Workin' Man, that's WRKINMAN, Gameaholic.se,
I've
Swedish, I guess.
think I've heard of them before.
you?
Gameaholic sounds very familiar.
Okay, so
but it
that-
might have been a website, not a developer. I'm not 100%
okay,
sure.
that's a maybe.
Yeah.
Code Mystics,
Nope.
React Games.
I've heard of them.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay, we'll check that one. Play Magic,
Nope.
Monster Games.
Maybe that's a pretty generic title.
That can mean anything. Okay, Invisio Creations. It's
Wow. No.
NVIZZIO or ZZ for you Americans. Petroglyph. That one sounded familiar to me a little.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to put a question mark by that one. Kung Fu Factory. The factory where they make Kung Fu.
Do they box it or do they
I-
barrel? No, not that one.
I believe it comes by the metric ton. So, Origin 8.
Nope.
Llama Soft.
I like that name, but no, I've never heard of them.
So we have 3 maybes for you. We have
Yeah.
1 maybe for me. I would have to look it up, wiki that, and then maybe rack my brain. But nothing leaped out at me. There are no big names, even in the indie world, for this. Certainly no big third-party developers.
For those ones though, the whole thing is
Eden Games didn't do Alone in the Dark. They may have bought the rights to that. That was Infogrames, which is under Atari back in the day. Jay Tanuki.
yeah. Well, there you go.
So maybe they own it now
Or
after
maybe they
Atari
did like
went
a side
under.
game or something like that.
Maybe.
Or,
But they don't. Monster Games have made a lot of games I've heard of. Says Man Kill Destroy.
okay.
Okay, name a couple for me. You were saying.
Yeah. So basically, what it comes down to is, I guess it just depends on how their OS works on this console.
Well, it's Linux,
because
right?
It's not that bad if they only have these kind of some no-name indie companies or startups or whatever. If other games are just going to be able to be put on there as long as it just runs on a Linux base, because there are a lot of indie games right now that I know I personally own or I'm interested in owning, and the first thing they say is this works on Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Sure.
So if those can be ported over via their storefront or just I buy the game and then all of a sudden I can like put it on there somehow.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
But when you're launching a console, theoretically, you've gotten dev kits out to developers like a year ahead of time, 2 years ahead of time. So even if they're not going to make your launch window, at the very least, you can say, oh, this person is building whatever or porting whatever.
I mean, this is not the same situation as saying Microsoft sent this dev kit out or PlayStation sent this dev kit out for this for all these big devs or something. Because it is literally just a Steam box. That's all it is. They don't have any fancy upfront like OS that has to integrate with and you have like an online profile for it and everything like that. It's just a Linux machine. That's all it is.
Right.
So
they have plans apparently for things like cloud-based delivery and stuff too.
Right.
So.
I mean, I'm not saying that you won't have like a sign-in name and stuff like that, but I mean, it's we'll see how deep that goes because I think the best thing that they can do with this system is try to keep it as open as possible so they can get the most games as possible on there. Because Linux is a great system for open-endedness.
Yes.
But it's up to Atari to make that happen for the gaming side of things.
So, Jay Tanuki, check the year on that game that was developed by Eden Games.
Yeah.
Because I'm betting that's probably the latter day one. Yeah, that's probably the Hydrovision. No, that's the Hydrovision for the Wii and the PS2. That is a port of Alone in the Dark. That's the original Alone in the Dark was like
way
like
back.
386 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like pre-Resident Evil. That was the first.
That was the first one that
the
had
tank
that
control.
tank controls,
Yeah.
like fixed backgrounds with a 3D character.
I think the one that she's talking about was that one that you and I were looking at like years ago, where it was like the inventory was the guy's coat.
Yeah.
It was
and
such a good
it had
idea,
it had a great idea, but the game wasn't that great and had a horrible driving sequence in it.
Oh, the driving was terrible. All right, so that's
the 2008 one.
Yeah, so that's the 2008 one. Not a great game. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if they come in and they do another Alone in the Dark because it's like Atari, okay.
I'm interested to see where it'll go because I'm always interested when they will bring like when they bring out these small little consoles.
Yeah.
And they said that they can do these things. I just want to see one kind of succeed, and it would be real because I mean we saw what happened to the Ouya.
See, that's what I'm thinking about, right?
Yeah.
This smacks of Ouya. That should be a terrible perfume.
The problem that was with that one is that it was completely underpowered for what they were saying they wanted to do with it. And they also had a terrible OS that was based on an Android operating system. So you've already kind of like cut yourself down there. Linux is, very minimal in its operating, use of power and stuff like that. So you've already got that, and you already have a much more powerful system in this. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
It's kind of funny because on one hand, for not a major console, maybe you don't want to develop for it, just in case their security isn't up to snuff and piracy is an issue. But on the other hand, how many of them are going to be out there that piracy would even be an issue?
That's the whole thing, is kind of like it's a numbers game at that point, because it's like if you ship, I don't know, fucking 50,000 units or something like that worldwide, your average guy that wants to hack into one of those things and kind of dick around with it and stuff, they're probably not going to put their time into doing that because there's so few systems.
Well, let's actually do the math. There's two versions you can buy. There's the main console, which is the Onyx version, the black version with the joystick, which is $229 US.
Do you get a joystick and a joypad?
No, just you can buy those separately, but the base unit is just the traditional Atari looking joystick.
Oh wow, so they basically force you to buy a joypad then.
If you want any other games, like they have a modern looking one which kind of looks like the Xbox 360 controller.
Yeah, like that's the one I saw. I thought it came with both of them because it had a picture of the system and it had a picture of both controllers sitting in front of it.
There is one that you can get both with the limited edition,
like a combo pack.
Yeah, I think it's like $329.
Oh, okay.
But the collector's edition, which has like the fake wood paneling, is $299.
Okay.
So at the time they've sold that I looked at it earlier today, it was $2.5 million. So let's just quickly do some math. We'll assume that everyone is buying. We'll split the difference. We'll say $250.
Okay.
So divided by 250. That is not the right math at all. So bad at math.
Sorry, we're both terrible at math, so that does not work well at all.
There we go. 2.5 million. So we're looking at 10,000 units they've sold at $2.5 million, assuming an even spread between the base unit and the collector's edition. That's not great for a console launch, unless it is going to be just a collector's item, and then, unless you can hook it up to Steam with their Linux library and just download it directly.
And that's kind of what I'm hoping that they go with, because if they open that doorway, it makes it much more viable at that point.
Well, just so people are not, you don't have to entice people to develop for it specifically.
Well, yeah, you don't have to get them from day one, and then you also have people like me that like my computer just sucks balls right now, like it's half broken and everything like that. So if I had a mini console like that I could have my most of my Steam library, because I basically buy indie games on it, stuff I could easily run on something like that.
Does Steam, when you buy something for Windows, do you also get the Linux version if there is one, or do you have to buy specifically one or the other?
As long as you buy it on Steam, I think you just log in on a Linux machine with your Steam account, and I think you have it. I'm not 100% sure, because I've never owned like a Linux computer or anything like that.
I've never been one of those edgelords that go, my box runs like Linux. You know who you are.
But that's why I'm kind of interested in it. I just want to see where they're going to go with it, what kind of door it's going to open, or if it's just going to flop like the Ouya did.
Oh, it'll flop hardcore. That's my prediction, because that's a Jack McBastard guarantee. On the other hand, the other more conventional and I think more interesting offering is the Intellivision, because just last week, Tommy Tallarico, who's been in games development, he's been on Electric Playground. He bought the Intellivision brand. He is the CEO of Intellivision.
Wow, he just straight up bought it?
The Intellivision, he bought the rights from Mattel. He acquired the rights to the name, the console technology, and the back catalog of games. And what's more, as CEO, he's also picked up talent who worked on the original console. So Chairman Steve Roney and Vice President of Technology Bill Fisher were both involved with the brand since 1981.
Wow.
So these are old school Intellivision folks. And they worked there as programmers at the time. Now they're running the show. They have David Warhol, who designed and produced more than 25 Intellivision titles. He's heading up the company's game design and development group. So it looks like they're going to,
It's just, I just picture him sitting behind his desk. You come in to have an interview. Tommy comes in. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And this old guy, nice guy with gray hair. And you sit down, and he's got his old 386 sitting on his desk there. It's like, "So you want us to make some games, huh?" I got some real hot ones for you here. And he just spins his giant computer around and shows them these like shitty old, like, 2-bit games that have like 3 colors on the screen. They're like, the kids are really gonna like this one.
Yeah, that's right. Don't
like
worry.
he's never left his office for the past 40 years.
I kind of wonder if they're going to say it runs in 4K. It just means that the cartridges are just like literally 4 kilobytes. So he says, Tallarico says, because I don't know why he wanted to do this, because he's been playing modern games forever. He says he grew up playing Intellivision with my parents and younger brother. It was always my favorite system because the games were cutting edge, yet fun and simple to play so my entire family could enjoy them together. I find those important elements to generally be lacking from our industry with the current modern gaming console. So obviously he doesn't own a Nintendo. So he is envisioning a mini NES, like a mini Intellivision. And it's like 40-year-old games he's going to put on this thing. So they're going to have a booth at E3 where they're going to give interviews. They're going to give more details. There are no stats on the console yet. Presumably, it's just going to be a self-contained, one-shot
like
sort of deal.
The NES Mini, the SNES Mini, that Genesis one that came out. It'll be a micro version of it, probably smaller than the controller itself.
Hey, man.
And it'll have 50 games on it or something, or 100 games.
So, but now that he owns like the brand and the titles, could you picture like a fucking PS4 version of like River Raid or some shit? That'd be amazing.
in mind-blowing 4K.
Oh my god, Tron on Intellivision was so good with the weird things. You had to shoot the spiders.
I think the best thing that could come out of something like either that or the Atari VCS, either one, like I would love to see them both do it, honestly, because they both had their games that were really fun. Because I had an Atari, my buddy had an Intellivision, so I got the best of both worlds.
Sure.
I would love to see super, super old school games like that made with modern gaming sensibility, other than loot boxes. But like some of the creature comforts of modern gaming, like even just navigation of menus and options that you have, certain ways that you use controllers and stuff like that. Like I would love to see old school games made with modern kind of ideals.
I would like to see 8th generation Frog Bog. Make it happen, Tommy.
Well, we'll see.
Anyway,
only time will tell.
Details of the new console will be released on October 1st. So we are not going to hear a lot at E3. They're going to have a presence. They're going to give interviews.
They'll probably have like 5 playable games or something like that.
Probably won't even have that. Like my understanding is their booth at E3 is strictly for press purposes. For like
they're like behind the scenes. Then.
Oh yeah, no, they don't have like they're not like the VCS where they at least have a fake console to show. Sorry, that was last year. They have a fake console.
Man, you were just bitter about Atari.
I mean, like,
was it Intellivision your first console then?
I didn't actually own an Intellivision. I played a lot of it. Our neighbor had one when I was a kid. So,
okay.
Yeah, we did have like a hardwired Pong system, though. That was awesome. Anyway, so while we're talking about money being thrown around, apparently Bungie has been working on a game for
Destiny 3.
Not Destiny. Not Destiny related.
Destiny 4.
They've been not Destiny
not
related.
Destiny related.
No. Destiny 5? No.
Yeah.
They've been working on a game for a while that is unrelated to Destiny. They have a whole separate team working on it.
Okay.
And this has been something that's been going on for a while, and they've just now announced that this is the case. They've been working with a Chinese company called NetEase, and they have made a $100 million investment in Bungie to make whatever this game is. Nobody knows what the game is. They're not telling us what the game is. They just said, hey, we just got $100 million.
$100 million.
To make this game. So they say it's not going to impact their plans for Destiny. The partnership, they say, will help us support separate teams inside Bungie to give our newest ambitions to life. So, something Bungie does, like...
It's interesting. I mean, because that's the thing, is when you go to the core of it, they can make good games.
Hey, maybe they'll make the original Myth games again. That's a series that needs
That
a
would
reboot.
be really interesting to get something a little more... Kind of like, The Witness was obviously inspired by Myst.
Yeah.
But to see them make another Myst game...
No, not Myst. Myth.
Oh, I thought you said Myst.
No, Myst.
Which one's Myth?
Myth is actually their IP.
Okay.
They did that way before Halo. And it was what actually put Bungie on the map and made, I think when they were making Halo, Microsoft went, yeah, I'll take that. Yoink. And picked up that studio. But Myth was a real-time strategy fantasy game.
Oh, okay. Wait.
It's kind of like...
it's like Age of Empire, but with
Kind of.
but they have like Titans and stuff in it or something, or
No,
they had
no.
gods.
No,
or...
we're going back a ways, but I'm pretty sure it was all like you had a fixed number of units, and you had a scenario and a number of levels, and there was a story that went with it. It's been a long fucking time. You're talking like 2001.
Oh
era.
no, I was thinking even earlier than that. I was talking about like when Warcraft 2 was out, like in 95,
no, not quite that
96.
far back.
Like
No, but it's been around for a while. But I mean, they own that IP. It would be neat to see.
Janus Serene wants a 24-hour stream of Intellivision's Utopia.
Wow.
I don't even know what that is. Is that like Civ for Intellivision?
Kind of like we'll put up a donation stream for that, and we hit a 24-hour worth of target. Then we'll do that to buy the system to play Utopia for a full day. That's going to be a costly venture. I strongly doubt that particular donation.
I mean, honestly, unless that Intellivision goes completely the other way like VCS did, it's going to be cheap anyways.
Probably, but I don't have a full day to play Utopia or any Intellivision game. Anyway, so speaking of a shitload of money, Cloud Imperium Games, the guys who do Star Citizen.
Okay.
So they have just announced.
Is their game done yet?
No, of course not. Are you fucking kidding me?
I was just wondering
because they've finished this game.
They've been building it for what, 7 years now or something?
I don't know the actual number, but that could be a roughly accurate value.
It's been at least 6 years, I believe, that Star Citizen has, since it's like super stellar Kickstarter.
It was before the PS4 and the Xbox One came out.
Yeah,
but their crowdfunding has passed $187 million.
Oh my god!
So like this is all
people just like. Do they just have a hole in the wall at their shop, and people cram money in it or something? Like
basically, they've announced that Alpha 3.2 is coming out in June. So no, the game's not done. It's not even in beta. It's still in alpha. They're still finishing basic mechanics of the game.
And the funniest part is that game, I guarantee, has way more, polish on it than a lot of AAA games that come out.
It does. But I mean, this is it, right? Like, how much time do you expend polishing something when you don't even have a vertical slice of the whole fucking game?
Yeah.
Like, they're coming at this in a typically weird Chris Roberts kind of way. Now, I like Wing Commander. I love Wing Commander to death. I like Privateer. I like Freelancer. All of those were great. This concept as like an elite sort of in a Privateer universe with multiplayer and everything, it looks great. It ideally would be a good thing. Then I started seeing the microtransactions attached to this and all the costs attached to this, and it really smacked of just naked corporate greed.
Did it feel like almost like it was you were, it's first person, your point of view? It almost felt like real life on this other planet in this jet, because every store you go into has something that you can pay for in like real money.
kind of like it kind of reminded me of Eve, except you're buying everything physically.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the game itself is more like Privateer, but it's just the feeling I got. But so here's the thing: to celebrate,
Tron says they have ships in that game that cost more than real cars.
Oh, you're not wrong. I was just about to mention this. They just announced to celebrate their latest
alpha,
their latest milestone. They're releasing something called the Legatus Pack, which contains 117 ships, has 163 extras like beacons, modules, posters, models, etc. Yours for the low price of $27,000.
What?
$27,000.
Well, there we go. They got everyone else beat. That is the most criminal fucking DLC I've ever heard of.
Well,
that beats the piss out of that train simulator game.
Right. But I mean, at least when you look at it though, it's not a loot box because you know exactly what you get.
No, but I just said DLC. I didn't say loot box. So yeah.
Even still, $27,000. So and they know who their fucking target audience is because you can't even see that item in the store unless you've already given them $1,000. They
probably gave them
more.
like a fucking gold encrusted, jewel encrusted invitation envelope to like the top 10 players. And
no, they don't want to scare away the little guys, right? But so unless you have paid $1,000 or more, you can't even see it in the store. So it's like they know who they're fucking targeting.
They probably bring them to a fucking private party where there's cocaine and hookers everywhere or something.
And I mean, and the game isn't even fucking done. So I'm so glad that I resisted the urge to buy in when it was cheap.
Yeah, because you'd be a hobo on the street now because you'd be out of money.
I'm going to be playing Half-Life 3 before this fucking game comes out. Jesus Christ. So anyway,
Yeah, James Marine, in case, I don't know if you're joking or not, if your stream actually glitched, but he said $27,000. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yep. The ironic
How
thing
dare
is,
they? That shit should be illegal right there.
Well, I mean, it's not like they're forcing anyone, but people will pay this shit, and it's like, why?
Who pays $27,000 for a video game unless they're the ones creating it?
Well, let me put it this way: if I'm fucking Jay-Z and I'm playing a game and I like the game, at least if I'm gonna drop 27 grand, it's gonna be on a game that's fucking done that I can play.
Yeah,
that's complete.
And Jay-Z would never have the time in his day to play a game as deep as
I guess maybe not. I mean, maybe Drake would watch me play it. I don't know.
Kill the story. That's true. There are a lot of young, rich oil princes out there that literally just game all day long.
But it's like, even then, the game isn't even finished. So what the fuck are you're investing in? Like, it just makes me angry. Whew. Anyway,
they better get a fucking gold statue on every planet in that game or something like that. Like,
they got 117 ships, so they get like a fleet.
Yeah.
So maybe theoretically it's for like guild owners or something, so they can like hand off these ships to people and all pool your money.
I guess.
But even still, that's a lot of fucking money to hand off to somebody.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, or JT says, or investing $27K in a stock of a company, you might actually get something back.
I wouldn't even invest $27,000 in Cloud Imperium games. Like, not even I wouldn't buy shit from their game, let alone buy their stock. Jesus Christ. Maybe I should have put it in Epic, so that, make $300 million in April. Okay, let's talk about Elder Scrolls Online. So I liked Skyrim. I liked Elder Scrolls.
I think everyone likes Skyrim. There's no secret there.
And then ESO came out, and it was like, wow, that looks kind of Warcrafty. And then they kind of tweaked it a bit, and I was like, okay, it's fine if you like MMOs.
It's Warcraft with a slap of paint on it to make it look like Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like MMOs in general. It's just, I have shit to do. I have other games to play.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm paying X dollars a month, I feel guilty if I'm playing anything else. So anyway, on top of that, the most recent update, players found something interesting in the core files of the game. Apparently, it is a tracking software called Red Shell.
Okay.
And it was loaded with the most recent update. They claim that personal information is not logged, but on their website, Red Shell is listed as a service that lets Steam games uncover where their players come from through reliable attribution. And that means they track a digital fingerprint a person leaves when clicking on a custom link in a way not too dissimilar for services like Bitly. And then they log where the game's launcher is fired up by that same person and collects attribution. They say, basically the service says the computer clicked on this link from this YouTube video and the same computer played your game. So they are tracking people in a sort of black box way. It's still not great.
Well, okay, so what's the purpose of that, though? Why are they tracking it?
It's like people who play your game are also interested in YouTube, or they're interested in Westworld, or they're interested in blah. So they're getting a sense of what their demographics are for the purposes of advertising.
I'm sorry, what? I play my game and they figure out, like, I'm watching YouTube and shit like that?
Exactly. But they don't, apparently, they say they don't harvest any information about you, about your personal information, your name, the people you know, blah, blah, just sort of the shit you do online. So still not great.
So it says, this guy that bought whatever game, he watches YouTube.
Yeah.
We don't get to know what he watches on YouTube.
No, they get to know what you watch. They just don't know anything about you.
How fucking scummy is that?
It's not great either way.
That's fucking terrible.
So the producer, Matt Ferrer, he since responded to people finding out about this, and he says that Red Shell was still being evaluated. It was never meant to go out in the update. He says, and I quote, "My apologies for the confusion over the integration of Red Shell into ESO. Here's what happened. We have been experimenting with a better way to link which advertisements and web content new players see to the eventual account that is created in the game. The only," stressed, only purpose, This would be used for is to determine from which origin points our new players come from, so we can better plan where to place advertisements and other web content. Existing accounts would never encounter this as they are already created. That being said, we're still investigating how to use this technology in the future to grow and sustain ESO more effectively. When and if we do, we will give everyone a heads up with clear instructions as to what it is doing, how it is doing it, and how to opt out should you so desire. Check out the patch notes on Monday for the notice that Red Shell has been removed from U18, and we'll keep everyone posted. And again, my apologies.
Yeah, sounds like he got fucking caught with his hand in the cookie jar there. Oh, shit, I didn't know that was... Oh,
Jesus
I'm sorry,
Christ.
guy. It totally... I didn't know there were cookies in there. I didn't mean to steal anything. I mean, what am I doing here?
Is that your daughter that my dick is in, Mr. Farmer? I'm sorry. You know, put that shotgun away.
How fucking disgusting is that? That's like...
I mean, okay.
I play a game on my computer,
Right.
and then I go and watch fucking like Game Grumps and whatever like after and everything like that. They're sitting there like harvesting that information.
Well,
like,
I mean, it's not Facebook levels of scummy, but it's still not great.
they shouldn't fucking know anything that I'm doing after I shut my game off.
Especially...
They want to see like how I play or what I'm doing in a game. That's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But that is the slipperiest slope to basically spying on people.
Especially not telling you it was there.
Yeah.
You know, not being able to opt out.
Oh, yes. Don't worry. The next one will say you can opt out. If it's like, how about you just don't fucking put it in there?
Yeah.
Make it a giant, if you want to have that shit in there, giant red box, like, warning, warning, this is going to spy on you if you install this game. Opt out here.
Yeah.
You know, like, that is just absolute horseshit.
Not great.
That is enraging. I
Not
hate
great.
that.
So, in other news about nefarious corporate bullshit, Microsoft has decided, and I saved the best for last, Microsoft has decided to replace some of its paid Xbox support staff with volunteers from the Xbox Ambassadors program.
Oh my God.
So this is a new report from Polygon. They just put this out. Apparently, they've let go of 12 members of their Xbox support team to rely instead on volunteering users to provide support for fellow customers. These unpaid Xbox ambassadors will instead earn points and get entered into competitions for a chance to win prizes. It is fucking loot boxes for work.
Wow. That, again, a slippery slope. That's gonna be the new thing. Oh, we don't have to pay these employees because they're volunteering and we're offering them goods and services.
Well, it's kind of like Uber, right? We don't have to be responsible for these people because they're contractors, right?
Well, even contractors, you still have to pay them a
Right.
dollar value.
Yeah, but
now
it's-
they're saying, oh, they're volunteering. Here's some fucking free games that cost us pennies anyways.
And meanwhile, where's the recourse if someone gives you bad advice or, you know, does something that fucks up your system?
oh, well, they're volunteers, so
Yeah.
fuck them, you're gone.
Yeah.
And they don't have to pay vacation, benefits, like anything.
I'm more worried about the consumers, right? They say, oh, yeah, just do this and you'll reset your system by hitting this thing called format and you'll be fine. Don't worry, you won't lose anything. Oh, my bad. And he's out, right?
Oh, like, it's one thing for this because there are people that will instantly draw to that because they'll be like, oh my God, I get free games and shit. You're going to get young kids in there, they'll volunteer or whatever. It might even work out for them because it'll be their first job or something.
JS Marines, for one, salutes our new loot box economy.
But that just like smacks of corporate hell right there because that'll be all of a sudden you could see like fucking like Home Depot and Walmart and stuff like that being like, oh, well, you know, half of our staff are volunteers, but we give them like some free product from the store once a week or something. Like, oh my God, that's just terrible. Just scrape those pennies, corporations. Go for it.
See, and I think
fatten up those fucking pay books.
Who it's really going to be attractive to is like 14 and 15-year-old kids.
Yeah.
You know, that play a lot of Xbox and go, oh, yeah, I'll answer all these questions. I get free games. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then...
It's like, no, you should be getting a paycheck. That's the legalities of it.
And then some 40-year-old dad is like, how do I lock out my kid's stuff? And he's talking to some kid who's probably younger than his own kid.
Yeah, that's basically it.
All right. Time for some quick hits.
All right.
James Marsden is going to be the lead in the brand new Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
What? Wait.
I'll say that again.
Please.
James Marsden is going to be the star in the new upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Wow.
Coming out November 2019.
Okay.
That is all the details I have.
Is this like fan fiction or something?
This is an actual thing. He is signed up. He will be. I'm assuming the lead. He will be Sonic's voice.
I don't believe this, so I'm gonna go to IMDb right now.
Go ahead. Check my. It's like it was in fucking Variety. So I mean, you go out and look it up. Sergey Grigorovich from GSC Game World. Those are the guys who were doing quote unquote Stalker 2.
Okay, yeah.
He mentioned that the Stalker 2 announcement a few weeks back was made early in order to attract a publisher at E3.
Well, so there it is, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right? So Stalker 2 doesn't have a publisher. They're in literally the design document stage.
Right.
This thing smells like so much fucking vaporware. I don't think they're going to fail to bring Stalker 2 to market for a second time.
You know what the best thing to do is, if they are actually serious about bringing Stalker 2 to market, like actually making a fully fledged video game out of it, they need to do a Kickstarter. Because even though that name has gone the wayside because of it's been out of the press for so long, we've had plenty of games like Fallout and stuff like that kind of in between. Metro, yeah, of course. That, ate a lot of that too. The best thing they can do is a Kickstarter, because the people who hear the name Stalker are going to start throwing their wallets at their fucking computer monitors.
Right.
I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are salivating, waiting for their next chance to play a new Stalker game.
I mean, at the same time, though, like I say, GSC, and I think this is a pretty public thing, they failed the first time to bring it to market.
Was that under their own steam, though? Like,
yeah, no, it was. It was. Like, maybe if they had the money behind it, but they have a very small fucking staff now. I don't know that they honestly have the manpower to make this game. I would love for them to do it.
Not to the level that they should make it anyways, to keep up with modern kind of AAA gaming and stuff like that. Especially, again, for a title like Stalker.
Right.
Because if you fuck that title up, oh my god, there's going to be blood.
There's going to be a few people who are upset, myself included. Get out of here, Stalker. Jay Tanuki thinks that Sonic is the live action with 3D animation.
Yeah, it'll be one of those, like,
sure,
kind of weird Roger Rabbit-esque kind of things, but I'm sure it's just going to be weird as fuck.
Yeah. Maim Kill Destroy says can't be any worse than Mario Brothers, right?
No, I don't think anything. I don't think any video game movie has ever been worse than Mario Brothers.
I will take that bet. Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li.
Oh, that's true, because that movie was
awful.
That was just boring.
Oh,
even the Uwe Ball ones were cheesy enough to be entertaining because they were so stupid for the most part. But you're right. The Legend of Chun-Li
was not great.
Was terrible. It was like just a slog to watch.
Yep. All right. Microsoft announced earlier today, some amazing stats about State of Decay 2. So I want you to pay attention to the language.
Oh, I'm engaged.
Yes, fully engaged. Microsoft announced today that State of Decay 2 exceeds 2 million players in less than 2 weeks. So at no point do they use the phrase sales. 2 million players in less than 2 weeks. So they're trying to take credit for all of the Xbox Game Passes and anyone who bought them in any version.
I don't know what the exact numbers are, of course, because they don't publish sales. But even if like a quarter of those are the free ones that they gave away, that's 500,000 people.
Right. See, and I'm thinking about that. And I went digging for stats on the Xbox Game Pass because I know for a fact that there's got to be a lot of people. Maybe not. Like, I don't know what, like, I mean, Netflix is like 10 million people or something.
You take a name like State of Decay.
Right.
And you give it away for free,
right?
People are going to fucking download it.
Everyone, like 100% of the people who have an Xbox Game Pass would have downloaded that, just for the fuck of it. Because, it's a good game, and actually...
I mean, even if you don't know anything about it, you're probably going to download it just to try it, just like I do with my PS Plus games.
Right.
If I've never even heard of the game, I still download it and try it out.
Gun Street Boy is actually playing it, says it's pretty good. So,
okay, there you go.
I'm actually trying to arrange it so that we play, like, a co-op game on stream.
Oh, nice, yeah.
That'd be pretty awesome. So, they've also released some other excellent stats about this, where 2 billion zombies have been killed and 121 community stories have been completed. So nothing that really tells me anything about how well it's been doing.
It doesn't really mean anything.
No.
And that's the thing is, again, it's like if you give away a game for free, I don't even know why they're toting stats at that point. Unless they can say, yes, we sold X amount of copies. We
Which
only
they'll
gave
never
away
do.
these other ones for free,
Yeah.
but they're not going to do
They'll
it.
never do that. And if you look at it, they mention what it costs for the regular edition, for the Ultimate Edition. They never once mention the Game Pass in any way, shape, or form, hoping that you'll forget that that's a thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Which is funny because they should be boosting that because that's where they're
Right.
going to actually get their money from.
It's an excellent strategy, but, you know, like the optics of it, if you're not paying attention.
They're incredibly skewed,
Yes,
unfortunately.
Yes. So THQ Nordic announced that today that the remastered edition of Red Faction Guerrilla will be released on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on the 3rd of July.
Remastered.
Remastered. That's right. Sorry, remastered. I didn't actually say remastered here, but yes.
Yeah.
But it is Red Faction Guerrilla, the remastered edition.
Yeah.
And if you go and watch the trailer, I tweeted out today, they actually took that Idle Thumb Space Asshole song
Yep.
and put it on the fucking
Oh,
trailer.
because it made it.
Oh, so brilliant.
They did a good job, and you know what? I need to go back and actually watch a like PS3 360 trailer for Red Faction.
Yeah.
Because when I saw the trailer, I thought it was a new game. Like,
Yeah.
it looked so fucking good that I was just like, wait a minute, no, like,
Yeah.
I don't remember the game looking even half as good as this. So
Well,
like, I
Okay, so what you do is when you're on YouTube, you take the YouTube video and you bump it down to 480p. And then you open up I don't know, I want to say Crisis in the background so that
for
you're
Photoshop.
Yeah, so or Photoshop Crisis and just keep opening them so that your frame rate tanks to about 15 frames per second, and that's the PS3 experience. In a
Yeah, because
easy
honestly, I was blown away when I
Yeah.
saw that trailer today because I was like, holy fuck, this looks like a brand new fucking game. They
Yeah.
did such a good job remastering it. So,
What's actually cool is that if you already own the PC edition on Steam, you get the remastered edition for free.
oh,
So-
that's awesome.
which it already did run at 4K, but I imagine they're putting in much better textures and
Just
videos and stuff.
The textures, the lighting,
Yeah.
just the like all of the auras and effects and everything like that, like it just looked gorgeous. I cannot wait to play this one again.
So, have you seen the new Switch accessory for the new Pokemon game?
Oh yes, absolutely,
the
yeah.
actual Pokeball?
And hey, it's cool that they're finally doing it. I mean, it took you long enough, Nintendo.
I mean, if anyone was going to do it, it's going to be fucking Nintendo, obviously.
It's
but
fucking Pokemon.
I know.
People after, what is it? Fucking 20 years or whatever, however many
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years now. People still lose their minds over Pokemon stuff. So
do you see they dug out like out of Pokemon Gold and Silver all those cut Pokemon that were in the code?
Mhm.
Like after 20
Yep.
fucking years, they found this.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, people have been playing Pokemon forever. They love Pokemon.
And yeah,
So now you can have a Pokeball and actually play the fucking game with the Pokeball. And when you want to catch a Pokeball, you make a throwing motion with the Pokeball at the screen.
I thought like their new games, they're a great mix too. Like, have you actually seen the trailer
Yeah.
for the new ones?
They look good. They look
Well,
really good.
Not just how they look, but it's a new Pokemon adventure
Right.
on your Switch.
Right.
But it also interacts with Pokemon Go. So like
Yay.
they did a good job, because that was the problem with Pokemon Go. It didn't have
Right.
as much staying power because it was a standalone thing that
yeah.
you couldn't really do anything with outside of catching Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, the combat, like, there was nothing like that, right? There was no
Yep.
battle, which is, like, what Pokemon is.
Yeah, which is like you ask anyone with like
Right.
their fucking 3DS on them, and it's just like, well, yeah, I caught all these, but then I can go on an adventure and actually
Right.
use all these Pokemon
Right.
too. So
It's the
this
whole
is
other half
what
of
that
the
was
game.
sorely missing.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyway, when a wild Pokemon appears, ready a Pokeball, try to catch a Pokemon by moving your Pokeball Plus like you're throwing it. When you catch a Pokemon, the Pokeball Plus will light up and vibrate in your hand. You'll hear the Pokemon let out its unique cry. You'll think there's actually a Pokemon inside. This is just, yeah, really. This is just the text from the fucking
Yeah,
press
it's
release.
the flavor text.
You take your Pokemon for a stroll in your Pokeball Plus out in the real world, and when you're out and about, you can gently shake your Pokeball Plus, and the Pokemon inside will make a sound, and the Pokeball Plus will vibrate.
Because vibrate.
I think I'm going to need Santa to translate this into nerd for me, because,
And
Jesus.
people, you are not going to be able to find these things when they come out.
No, people
they
are going to lose their shit. Are you kidding?
instantly
Yeah.
sell out for like the next year.
Right. It's fucking insane. All right. So we're into the big ticket.
Oh, and then Nintendo will be like, "Oh, we didn't know to make that many." It's like, you fucking idiots.
It prints money. So here's the big ticket.
All right.
this year, of course, the big ticket this week. The big ticket is, of course, E3 hype. So every year, like clockwork, just before E3, there are a few pre-announcements and there's a shitload of leaks.
Pre-announcements, aka leaks.
some of them are like planned leaks, like oh, it just leaked out. You know, you get stuff like Rage a couple weeks back we talked about.
Yeah.
But this past week there have been like major fucking leaks because you know you get stuff being sent out to retailers so they have it ready, and you know,
and it's down to the wire. We're within the
wives.
week now, so yeah, this is when all the stuff starts changing hands and people snap pictures of stuff that they're not supposed to. And
so we've gathered all of the E3 leaks together, and we've got a good page and a half of things that we've heard about just in this past week, and that I'm in some cases very excited for.
Of course.
So first of all, and this is one that I've been waiting for a long fucking time, is that the Korean Game Ratings Board has rated Borderlands Game of the Year Edition for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So this is the original Borderlands.
Right, yeah.
Was that your favorite one of the three?
I mean, no, two, but that's because I spent the most time with that one.
Right.
Borderlands 1, I had only got to play a bit because I never actually owned that one. I just played it at a friend's house.
Oh, okay.
But, of course, that's kind of like where I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, this is something else. I haven't played anything like this before.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Borderlands 2 came out and I was like, fuck yes.
Yeah. No, we cut our teeth on the original one and we went straight through like the same group into the second game, and man, I was a huge fan of Borderlands. Like lots of fun multiplayer action. Not so much the split screen with the weird dimensions.
Yeah.
The UI and the Borderlands for split screen, terrible.
Not great.
Anyway, but as a multiplayer game, the original one had a lot of fun with that. So now that we have the Handsome Collection, we have this one. All of them will be on modern consoles.
I'm really surprised that it took them this long to actually do that one because people were asking for it.
They were.
And we had all the other ones remastered, so it was like, just fucking do it already. Like, you want money? There's money.
Well, I mean, shit, they were still waiting on that fat Aliens Colonial Marines money, I guess.
Yeah, they're going to be waiting for quite some time.
Well, I mean, when Battleborn didn't turn out to be the cash cow that they thought
it
would be.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe like Battleborn was a sinking ship, and they were like,
maybe.
Oh shit, let's get that Borderlands thing going.
Well, that's an easy one because of course 2K. This is the 2K section. 2K, there was that rumor that a major 2K game. It wasn't so much a rumor, but we don't know which one it was. One of their major games pushed back till next year. It was supposed to be out this year. Some people think it's going to be Borderlands. Like it's pushed out like apparently till fiscal year 2019. So it's like after March of next year.
Yeah.
So some people are saying it's going to be Borderlands. I think it might have been that unannounced BioShock game that they were still working on, but who knows? So maybe they just needed the cash infusion. And they said, "Hey, do this. 2K Marin Go or something." You know, I'm fine with that. I get the game. Fuck it.
Exactly. And again, it's a remaster. They can't really fuck things up. The game is already solid, so polish it up and throw it out the door.
Yeah, if it runs as well as the pre-sequel did comparatively, I'm 100% behind it. So Capcom now. A few days ago, this is interesting. Okay, so I'm just, how about this? We're going to play a game.
All right.
I'm going to go through and we're going to list the titles of the companies. You're going to tell me what you think the rumors are going to be. Have you heard about any of these rumors?
Oh, no, that's the thing is I haven't heard any of them, but
so if you heard a rumor about Capcom, what would you think the rumor would be? It could be just a title or an idea.
Something to do with Mega Man.
No.
No, because they've already had their pre-order with the amiibo
Mega
and
Man
stuff
11 and everything.
that I may or may not have bought.
Okay. What else? Which other franchise would you think there'd be a rumor about?
Street Fighter.
We talked about the Street Fighter collection. I don't think that was a rumor, but yeah.
No, that was official. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Bionic Commando.
Fuck you. All right. You're bad at this game, so this may have been a bad idea.
No, I don't have the previous knowledge that you do. Like I'm scatterbrained when it comes to this type of stuff.
A few days ago, Capcom registered a domain for Devil May Cry 5.
Oh my god.
Right.
So wait. So actually, Devil May Cry 5, not DMC?
Devil May Cry 5. Rumors about a new Devil May Cry game have been circulating for a couple of months now. But now it apparently has been confirmed that it is going to be a Devil May Cry 5. So, otherwise, Capcom's just putting it on hold.
And I would have
fucking
never
with
guessed
us.
that because
Right.
that was so far from my
I know.
mind because I was like, I just never expected another one.
What they also did is they updated the Resident Evil 2 domain. So there's a possibility they might do like they did the Resident Evil original one.
Right,
like a
yeah.
remake like that for
That
PS4.
would be awesome because honestly,
be.
2 was that's still my favorite
Right.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, and that remake they did of the original Resident Evil was really
Well,
good.
because they added so
Yeah.
much to it too.
Yeah, it looked
wasn't
so good.
Yeah, it looked really good. They added some extra content to it and everything, and they did a great job with that. So yeah, I would love to see 2 get the same
Still
treatment.
super fucking tanky though.
Oh yeah.
Tron guest Monster Hunter.
They're already balls deep in Monster
Yeah.
Hunter. They don't need to announce anything for that.
Oh, the Borderlands 1 DLC was actually really good. I mean, yeah, I'm with Jay Tanuki in that I definitely want Borderlands 3.
Oh, of course. That's
But-
what I'm really like
Right.
hoping that when they show this year,
Right.
it's gonna be like it'll come up. It'll be like 2K and everything that, and
Yeah.
it won't be BioShock. I want to see that Borderlands logo come up.
I figure they'll come out with a thing and it'll say, oh, and it's going to be like next year or something. And
Yeah.
people are like, oh, but to keep you playing Borderlands until then, buy this and boom. And it'd be like, in the store now or some shit. That would be amazing. Tamagotchi 2.0, that goes back to, I guess, the Pokeball.
Yeah, the Pokeball.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you, Tron. Goddamn Pokemon. Okay, so Sega. This is a casualty of a Walmart leak we had.
I guess they don't have anything else about Devil May Cry there, do they?
No, although actually Capcom also did extend the Deep Down trademark at the U.S. Patent and Trademark
Oh,
Office.
really? So that's still,
that's still
a thing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like 6 years in or
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, they demonstrated it 5 years ago.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They had a thing. I mean,
And then I've been playing Dark Souls ever since. So.
right. Yeah, you never know. So anyway, so maybe a remake of Resident Evil 2, maybe Devil May Cry.
I'm really looking forward to that
Yep.
because anything Devil May Cry, I'm totally on board with it.
Especially the timing of it says to me this might be something we'll hear about in just a week from now. So Sega, casualty of a Walmart leaking promo material, Sega then officially announced a Team Sonic racing game coming to PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch,
Right,
and
okay.
PC.
I did hear about this
Right.
one. Yeah, and honestly, again, I'm kind of excited for it just because it was basically one of the best kart racers you could get outside of Mario Kart because they did some different stuff with it and they clearly had fun with it. They didn't try to clone it exactly.
Was that one a team racing game too?
No, the first one wasn't. So
Okay.
this one they might go a little more in the vein of Double Dash, I think it was, for GameCube, because that actually was a team racer.
Okay.
Like you had 2 people in your cart and whatnot.
So what they've said is it's a racer that places an emphasis on playing as a team. It'll support 12 players online. What's interesting, it's going to support 4-player split screen. So what you can do is play 4-player split screen on like 4 different screens.
Oh, that's cool.
Weird.
How does that work then?
I do not know. I assume one person is like the host, and then you have 3 people with that guy, and then those 4 guys are in a room, and everyone locally is part of their team. I don't fucking
Interesting.
know. I don't fucking know. It's a Sonic game. I like 80% of the time it's gonna suck anyway. I hope they don't fuck it up. But apparently you're gonna have you're gonna have customization of your cars and whatnot.
Right.
It's gonna have 15 characters at launch. I'm assuming the usual suspects.
Yep.
Everyone we saw.
some DLC down the road. Because that's the thing is with them, they always have like the core Sonic crew in there, and then they have a whole slew of Sega characters like just thrown in there too.
As long as they have the Black Knight.
That'll just be customized clothing for Sonic.
God, okay. So we heard about Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 being remastered.
Right.
So Toshihiro Nagoshi actually said in a live stream this week that the remasters are targeting new overseas fans. So it's actually
there we go.
said, you know.
Yeah.
So we're going to be getting them whenever.
He's not talking about Australia.
Technically, it's over a sea.
It's over a sea.
That's fine. I mean, that's still English. They speak, close enough that I would get it. So, but he also said that they're not going to have any content edited from the versions that they have. So we might get the original uncut version of Yakuza 3 that wasn't like fucking butchered.
Okay.
I don't know if that's good or bad because some of the stuff they edited out was for like cultural content. Like, was it like a poetry game? So you'd have to like be able to read Japanese and know poetry and shit?
I would rather have it be authentic than just have a bunch of it cut out and be like, well what am I missing then?
As long as there's not a trophy for it and I don't have to do it, because Jesus Christ, it's bad enough I have to play shogi every fucking time, and That's just ridiculous.
You have to play a claw game while you read poetry.
The claw game was a lot easier than the shogi, let me tell you. So anyway, Yakuza 6, they also released some stats about that. Apparently it sold 800,000 copies, which isn't a lot for any other game, but it is the best-selling Yakuza game.
I was going to say,
so
for a Yakuza game, that's
very good.
That's not bad, because it's also strung to one system, too. You can only get it on PlayStation.
Yeah. So it's not like that's like split among multiple consoles. So that's really good. I'm just glad that Sega is still supporting it now after all these years.
Absolutely.
So Ubisoft, you probably heard the rumors about Ubisoft.
No, actually,
Really?
you know,
so
again, I've been tired and busy and
fair enough.
not reading enough news.
Okay, good enough. That's what we're here for. So in Ubisoft, they actually leaked an image of a keychain, which was a pre-order bonus they were presumably shipping to like GameStop or something.
Oh, okay.
And it had the title of the Assassin's Creed game on it. It said Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes, I did hear about. I just heard Odyssey. I
Right.
didn't see any of the stuff on it though.
So they showed it was like a little like a Greek head like helm
Oh, okay.
on the edge of the keychain. And so Ubisoft came out same day and said, "Yep, it's real." Half-second trailer of a guy kicking a guy like this is Sparta off a cliff, you know,
Like an assassin kicking a guy
well,
like Sparta style.
They look like they were in Greek. You don't really see a lot of it, but you know
Okay.
they look like in ancient Greek attire or Roman attire. It's kind of weird. There was some asshole who was like yammering about this. The name Odyssey says to me Trojan War, which is like 1,200 years before Origins and like Cleopatra's age and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's supposed to be the original Assassins.
Yeah. So now they're going original.
Right. But I mean, the Hidden Blade was came from a previous organization, so technically, possibly. But why would you go to all this trouble of setting up the origin of the Assassins organization and then
just
like, oh yeah,
just
even
to
further.
the next year,
Right.
You're like, oh yeah, here's an origin story.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Kevin J. Anderson move. Oh, you think the Death Star is big? Well, this thing could kill a son. Fuck you. So anyway, but the dress of the people, like in the half-second trailer, someone was saying it was from like the Mycenaean age, so it's like roughly around the same time as Bayek. So who the fuck knows? It could just be that they use the term Odyssey because that's Greek and not like literally in the Trojan War. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be ancient Greece. It's supposed to be like blah blah. We'll see what happens. It's interesting. I mean,
yeah, that's one of those things, like, they probably had it queued up because they knew it was going to get leaked. So they were like,
Maybe.
yeah, here, have this teaser, and then at E3 we'll show you more about it.
I think it's honestly so that they can put Origins out last year and do the Odyssey this year and reuse some of the assets from like Alexandria and whatnot.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Because people love Assassin's Creed, they're going to buy into it.
Yeah.
And
Origins was good.
And Origins was very good. And then that'll give them time to work on their next like fully fledged title.
Right. I really fucking wish. Why don't you just do World War II? I want to be in Paris. I want to have.
Hey, we all have our eras that we want assassins
God
to
damn it.
visit, and we just haven't gotten them yet because I still haven't gotten my
Edo
proper
period Japan?
Yeah, like I haven't got my proper like ninja samurai Assassin's Creed game.
Yep, I'd love to see that Edo period Japan or World War II in an occupied Paris, and have just your assassin literally going about fucking like building up Maquis cells and shit. That'd be amazing. Even though I'd be playing as a French guy, I'm even willing to play as a French guy. Ubisoft, help me out. Epic. So there's a image that's taken from a leaked E3 document that indicates that Fortnite is coming to the Switch.
I'm not surprised in the slightest because
Right. They do Fortnite mobile, so why not?
Yeah, it runs on a fucking phone, so it's gonna run on a Switch.
Right.
And I mean, hey, that'll probably translate to an extra $200 million in April. So.
Right. Maybe they could spend it on a virtual console. So not specifically related to Epic, but in the image, and by the way, this comes from a 4chan post.
Oh,
so,
okay.
But apparently
Grain of salt.
but apparently they did manage to confirm. Oh, whoa, my God.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for the host, Mr. No
Thank
Beard,
you very
sir.
much for that host.
We're just doing some pre-E3 hype, of course, and talking about all the things we can expect to see on the weekend. And, of course, No Beard will be joining us for most of that craziness. So they also, not directly related to Epic, but in this Nintendo Switch thing, next to all the logos for the Switch, there were a couple of titles that have been rumored and some that are just outright new. So Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, that one had been known before. Some unannounced games like Killer Queen Black, I don't know what that is.
No clue.
And Overcooked 2.
Oh, Overcooked 2, yes!
Which I am absolutely behind.
Oh, I am so ready for
Such
that.
a good
I
game.
fucking love that game.
We had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. A lot of yelling.
I think that's why they built that game. They wanted, they basically wanted, they were like, hey, let's make a game based around like Gordon Ramsay's kitchen nightmares, but it'll just be more fun to play.
Right. No, it's true. Like that one in particular, like it takes a lot of coordination.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
That's one of those ones that's easy to play but hard to master because it's like just very basic controls, but it's about learning the layout of the kitchens and just learning, like, you stay at your station, I'll stay at mine.
Waiting for the land to shift or the trucks to pull apart.
Oh, my God. Some of those levels are just
insanity.
They're hell.
Yeah, but man, that was such a good time we had.
Yeah, Overcooked 2, Gordon Ramsay edition. It's fucking raw!
All right, so yeah, at this point, I'm expecting people to be firing live ammo over your head while you belly crawl down the fucking aisles.
You mean the trenches of World War? And just, it's like, I gotta get this burger to the customer.
Grenade, right?
Or you'd be like in a fucking like Resident Evil horror house, and there would be like zombies trying to eat your food.
So there's the very narrow corridors, and you have to run either way around the island to avoid the zombie.
There's like hands grabbing you through the windows.
One guy's on zombie duty with a fucking
machete or something.
Well, he can't use a machete. That'll get in the salad.
Oh, right, yes.
Not in front of my salad.
Can't have that arterial spray.
No. So Rockstar today announced a bunch of bundles.
I did see this one.
Yeah, a bunch of bundles of pre-orders for Red Dead Redemption 2. Buried in the fine print was a note that indicates there's again going to be PS4 exclusive stuff. Not timed, probably, but
obviously, yeah.
So probably like a special mission or some gear or whatnot that'll be PS4 only, much like the first game had. But here's a weird one. They got pre-order bonuses. They got Warhorse and Outlaw Survival Kit given to pre-bookers. But with digital pre-bookers, you get additional stuff. So you get in-game cash and a treasure map. So they're actually incentivizing you buying the game digitally because they want you to not trade it in, right?
But so this is aside from the like giant collector's edition, because I was like, why would they make you stray from buying all this extra stuff that costs extra money?
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, when you look at it from their perspective, they can charge you a shitload of money for that. But if there's a statue or whatnot, you still have to buy that, right? They have to make it, they have to ship it places,
right? And
they have to put it on shelves, and possibly that can be returned.
Yeah.
So if you buy a digital thing, it's like, oh, we have your money, go fuck yourself.
Because it's interesting. Like, did you see the big collector's edition and everything like that? Yeah. They have a swath of stuff in that. It isn't just like here's like a statue of it, or like here's like one thing. Like they have a whole bunch of shit. I mean, it's smaller, like less expensive stuff, but it's really cool that they've had this like giant collection of stuff for it.
Same thing as kind of when you had like the Yakuza sets. They have like the shot glasses and the bumper stickers and shit. And it's like, oh no, but they know who their audience is. They're people who like cool shit like that.
Yeah,
like some liar's dice. I don't know.
I'm surprised they didn't have that in there, because they had the deck of cards, but they didn't have liar's dice.
Maybe it's just us, but it's between us and like the people we play with. Liar's dice was a huge fucking part of that game. I mean, maybe it's because we're all just duplicitous jerks. I mean, that's possible.
It's very possible.
All right, last but not least, Bethesda. Last Friday, Bethesda's Twitter feed and then its Twitch channel started showing a very familiar Fallout-themed test pattern, and then a live stream of a Fallout bobblehead.
Right. For
a full 24 hours. When I flipped it on, it was up to 150,000 people watching. The chat was just...
Yep. People will just go nuts for anything. If Skyrim or Fallout, or just like Elder Scrolls in general, they'll just lose their minds.
At one point, Pete Hines came out and he like had a flask. He had two cups, and he clinked it and takes out a flask, Irishes them both up, clinks it, and goes, much better, and he wanders off, right? It's like they had shit. It was like their fireside feed at Christmas time, right? So it was some chicanery, but for a full day until they finally announced, Fallout 76. And everyone's making the jokes, what up to Fallout 5 through 75? It's like everyone made that fucking joke. So this is apparently a new thing. Knowing Bethesda, this means it's going to be out like this fucking fall. But we know nothing
it's not
about
like
it.
they don't have the assets for it or anything.
Right. So we know nothing about it officially.
Yeah.
Unofficially, we have heard that it is based on a test multiplayer version of Fallout 4. And the plan is that it's going to be set way earlier in the timeline than any of the Fallouts that have been out up until now. So it's like 20 years after the bombs went off. So there's no megaton, there's no capital wasteland, built up. Probably not even any like Brotherhood of Steel or anything. It's just, wasteland.
Because they can have fun with that whole like building of that aspect.
Right.
You may be the first person to build, the Brotherhood or something like that.
And I mean, depending on what they mean by multiplayer, if it's a game like Ark, maybe you have like the Homestead system on a much larger scale.
Well, and see, that's what I had heard about it, is that it's less of a story-driven thing and more of a like survival-based game, like an Ark or Rust or that kind of thing.
Well, they've said it is going to have quests and a story, but it will also feature base building and other survival-based and multiplayer mechanics. But they've said, and this is kind of where I go, wow, that's cool to...
questionable.
They say that the gameplay is rapidly changing like it does in many online games as a service offerings. So I mean,
Battle Royale?
I mean, no, I'm assuming it's going to be like something like Ark, right, where it's like you have like 64 people in a server and people can come in and fuck up your shit or something.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? If that's what it is, as long as you can have like a private server, that could still be awesome.
Yeah, again, because we've talked about this multiple times. Like, it's hard for people like us to get into something like Rust or an Ark because, unless you can run a private server, because you don't have that time to dedicate to that game to protect your shit 24/7, basically.
Maybe we'll be the ones that implement the cap economy. If that's the case, I'm going to lean full into Metro and say bullets for everything.
Yeah.
If we can like, that would be a minor change, but I think a much more valuable one. People wouldn't just be spraying bullets everywhere if that's the money. Like, maybe beat them to death with a bat. Fallout Battle Royale Loot Box Edition. I mean,
it's very sad, but that's the way it could go. I mean, with the current market and whatnot.
Bethesda, I mean, ironically, this whole fucking thing started with horse armor back in the day. Yeah, and that was that was Oblivion, right?
Yeah, it sure was.
So, but
I remember it.
But it hasn't been like Bethesda has not done anything like that since.
They probably feel sorry for what they started,
right? I mean, and they put out huge fucking games too.
Yep.
Granted, they save a lot of money on QA. That doesn't get a lot of love, but I mean, with big games like this, sometimes how do you test something that big and find like all the places to fall through a map?
They've come this far in Fallout 4, so clearly what they're going to do is they're going to use a lot of content and a lot of assets from Fallout 4, create some new stuff to give it its era-appropriate stuff.
Yeah.
And this tested multiplayer thing that they've done and just throw it out there.
Right.
And people are going to eat it up one way or another.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm already interested as long as they sort of close that circle and say, yes, you can do it. Like, if it's like, maybe it's something like you get, 4 people, you're all in co-op, and then it's you PvE. That's amazing. Sign me the fuck up. If it's like PvP and games as a service and it's Destiny,
nope.
If it's like ESO but for Fallout, maybe.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not going to happen. Like you said it yourself. Like you
I don't have the time.
You don't have the time to dedicate to it, and then especially if it's like an MMO type of thing or whatever, like it's just not worth paying into it because you're gonna play you're gonna play the game for like a month or 2 or something like that. No matter how much content there is, you can only dedicate so much time to a game like that.
So, some background information according to Fallout lore. In the Fallout games, Vault 76 was meant to open just 20 years after the nuclear war. So again, far less civilized setting.
Yeah.
The narrator's tagline sort of supports this. It says, "When the fighting is stopped and the fallout is settled, you must rebuild." So it kind of seems that you are the ones.
You're the initial, you're the first ones.
So we're going to find out more June 10th.
Davey Gaming says, I'm not sure I want other people in my Fallout games. It's one of the few single players I play, and I like being immersed when I play them. Yeah, and that's fine too. I'm the same way. Like, I like that they have the, some interesting AI players and stuff in the game, but I do like that kind of adventure part of like, I'm the guy. Like, I'm the one that's kind of affecting all of this.
But Dave E, like, I liked the homestead system for Fallout 4. Can you picture how much better that would be if you didn't have to be the one to constantly go out and find fucking glue or, you know, wood?
Well, what they should do is they should just implement something like Assassin's Creed had with the Brotherhood thing or whatever. You could send
like in Unity? Oh, like, okay, yeah.
You could send the minions out and they would collect like random kind of shit for you and
so
whatnot.
Marcus Garvey, homestead's in trouble. Go fuck yourself,
like
Marcus.
Or like Metal Gear.
Yes.
Like Metal Gear 5, outside of paying to speed up said process, was really good. Like, I really liked that.
Okay. Ichigo says, I for sure don't want BR in it.
Oh, he doesn't want Battle Royale in it. So,
oh, Jesus, no. Yeah. Fuck that.
No, and that's the thing is we're not for that. I'm just scared that it might go that way just because Battle Royale's the hot ticket right now.
Well, if they're making it games as a service, like, the worst thing I could picture it be a certain amount of PvP in it where, you know, it's like a persistent environment.
Mm-hmm.
Or what if it's something like Metal Gear 5 where you have like your FOBs?
Well, that's what I was saying is because you have basically like AI partners and you can send them out on missions and they will bring back scrap and fuel and like all this other kind of stuff.
If people like can invade your homestead like an FOB and
no, and that's the thing is if you can do a private server or you can lock it off, but then you still have some AI counterparts to go and collect stuff, so you're not the only person going out and getting duct tape and bullets, then you know it's
FOB insurance.
Yeah, and none of that shit.
Yeah. For Fallout, it wouldn't really fit. And I agree, right? Vault 76 ended up being the first mutants. That could be it too. That would be awesome. I mean, I'm interested. I like Fallout as an idea. I've liked the previous games. Even played fucking Fallout Shelter for a long time until I realized the end game was
like they've nailed it. Like they've got the aesthetic down. They've got the gameplay there and everything. I just hope that they don't fuck it up by trying to either change the gameplay wildly, or by cramming it full of DLC, loot boxes, microtransactions, what have you.
We shall find out in 6 days.
Yeah.
All right, so you know what time it is.
Absolutely.
It's time to press select on the options menu.
Oh, you know what? You need a select button on
do.
there with the sound effect. Yeah, like that
Something.
kind of thing.
The best I can do for you is this.
Sure, that works.
Does that help?
That'll do for now.
You don't have to take my word for it. Anyway, so this is a rotating set of topics we do every week. This is New Game Plus we're going to talk about today, which are games that we return to over and over again to play, even though our backlog is fucking out of goddamn control.
Yeah, because it's that's why it's out of control, because there's just certain games that you have to go back and you have to play again and again.
It's true.
Whether it be
Red
every half year, every year, every 5 years, something like that. Yeah. It's just, you always keep them around and you always go to play them again.
Would you like some additional water?
Yes, please.
Okay, while you start...
Require more water.
I've been a little bit parched the last little bit.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. So start talking.
Okay, so basically where my New Game Plus came from, it's one that was on my list anyways, but it came up more recently because of what I've been currently playing, and that would be God of War. Because I have all of the remastered editions of all the God of War games. So basically, after playing the newest God of War, I was like, "Holy fuck! Do I ever miss being Kratos and kicking some serious ass?" So basically, like going back and playing those games, like because I used to have the PS2 ones. I bought the PS3 one like as soon as it came out. And then I went back and got the remastered ones kind of at the same time because I wanted to play through them at that time too. So basically, I want to go back and kind of refresh myself on all the history of it and everything like that. Because even though you remember like the core beats of the storyline and everything like that, you still want to go back because there's definitely parts that I forget that ever happened. And yeah, I just want to go back and be Kratos again for a while. Because, you know, it's amazing to play the newest game and seeing kind of that iteration of him.
Right.
But then go back and just be the like,
shit.
the sheer ball of hatred that Kratos was back in the day. But, yeah, because the remasters were very well done.
Right.
Because they worked well on PS2, obviously. They made them directly for that, and they worked really well for what the PS2 could do. It was still I think God of War 2 was still one of the best looking like PS2 games you could
It
get.
was like one of the very last ones.
Yeah,
too.
and it was because that was like where they could eke out like the most horsepower
Yeah.
possible because it was like the end of the life cycle of the system.
Actually, that one even had a hidden widescreen option that you had to know it was there to activate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that one and like I think Ratchet and Clank, one of like the Ratchet and Clank games were like the only ones that had that in the PS2.
Because it was going to that era where people were getting like widescreen TVs.
Everyone
at that
was
point.
like 4.3 up until that point. That was the true beginning of the 7th generation.
Yeah. But yeah, just having that, like, did they remaster them for PS4, or do I have to go back and hook up my PS3? Because I didn't even check.
I'm pretty sure they did. Like they remastered them for PS3.
Yeah, like I have that. Like I personally have the copy of those ones. Like there's 2 games on one disc, and then God of War 3, of course.
I know they did God of War 3 for PS4.
Okay.
I don't recall if they did the collection for PS4. I don't think they did.
Well, I'd go back and just hook up my PS3 because that's the thing is just like all these remasters for PS4 and Xbox One and stuff like that.
If only
It's
we had
nice
some
to
kind
have
of
them.
interconnected network.
Well, I'm talking. You can look it up.
I will absolutely do that for you.
It's nice to have all of your games in one place.
It's true.
And so if I hook up my PS3, I will have all 3 of my games in the same place,
Right.
and I can kind of fire through them.
Same reason I'm gonna buy fucking all Yakuza again.
Yeah, but it works out for someone like me who I've barely played any of it. All of a sudden, I could go in and I could basically kind of buy quote unquote like a box set,
Right.
And I can play them all on the same console.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those
There
are-
you go. Ichigo was even asking that.
God of War Collection PS4.
Oh, there you go. They only did God of War 3 for PS4.
Right.
So
Yeah, and Sony was good enough to ship that one to me free. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's PS3. I was gonna say they had a Saga collection that was for PS3. Nope, that was it. Yeah, they only remastered God of War 3 for PS4.
there we go. So
Very
yeah.
nice.
Either way, that's one I'm definitely gonna go back and play just to kind of just experience that again because again that was like those are some of the biggest games that they've ever had.
I wouldn't be
And
surprised if they eventually did that for PS4. Just now that it's back.
it
in
would
the
be nice to
people's minds.
again do the same thing where you have the first 3 games then on like one disc for PS4 and you have them all in the same place or whatever. But yeah, just like going back, like having like crazy good memories of playing that game and the insane giant boss battles and stuff, which again, I know they're coming, but they were severely missing from God of War 4. I know they did it for a reason and it totally worked. Like it focused in a different place on that one and everything. It absolutely worked for the storyline. I just cannot wait to see Titan-esque battles on PS4 with those graphics and everything.
Ishiko
like that.
says remaster for the first 2 with the spin-offs. That would be wicked. So you're talking about God of War 1 and 2, Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta, and
3 and Ascension. Yeah.
Well, 3 they already did, right?
All right.
Yeah.
But throw it on the disc anyways.
I mean, I guess if you're making a big collection at that point, you may as well.
It's
right?
that much more tantalizing to buy.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
yeah.
Like something like that would have been great. But I mean, I don't know. We might be waiting for like PS5 era when they start doing their back catalog.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way, I mean, it's in my mind, it's totally worth going back because, I mean, again, I bought them for a reason. They're fucking amazing games. And I feel sorry for people that have missed out, like Maim, Kill, Destroy.
Right. And that's exactly why they, like, a lot of people played the PS2 era ones, and when they went 360 instead of PS3, they never got to play God of War 3.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people, God of War 3 was, like, the definitive God of War.
Because it was, like, the PS2 on, like, turbo fucking steroids, and it was just epic to like no end.
Right.
So because the PS2 ones, they were epic in their own scale,
right?
But again, it was the limitations of a previous console. But then you get the PS3 game, and it's just like mind blowing what some of that stuff looks like and plays like. So
kind of why I wish they would do the same thing for like Metal Gear, like they did the collection for the PS3 and the remaster. Those were amazing.
Yeah,
but Metal Gear 4, only people who had a PS3 have ever played. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, and like the culmination of that whole series, you don't get.
And probably, like, still outside of mechanically of 4 is still the best one in my mind. So
plot-wise, it's definitely mechanically, arguably, it might still be.
It's on par, but it's just 5 does that little bit extra with kind of the open world aspects and the weapon customization and stuff like that.
Yep, very much so.
Yeah.
They had customization with Dragon.
Yeah, but not to the sheer extent that they had in this one. Like
with the research and everything.
Yeah.
All right. I love them both. I mean, shit. What am I gonna say?
But yeah, again, that's one that you go back and experience. It's absolutely worth having in your collection, whether it be digital or physical. And yeah,
yep,
I absolutely love those games.
Very much so.
So what's yours?
Oh, okay. This is gonna be kind of a good news, bad news one, or actually a good news, different news one. I like Final Fantasy, or I used to like Final Fantasy. I haven't liked Final Fantasy in a while. So
yeah, you've been a little sour on that.
It's kind of funny, actually. We were talking about Daniel and Jackson for the Player's Guide podcast. Just this past podcast, they did a whole wrap-up about Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
And they were talking about the various Final Fantasies and which ones they liked and which ones they didn't like. And none of them apparently have played the more recent ones. So
oh, really?
15, 14 was like the MMO.
14 was MMO. 13,
13, all three of them, not great. So anyway, they were talking about Final Fantasy X, right? And sort of what that did as the first PS2 game. And I was thinking about what they were saying, and I'm like, man, that's what they're talking about, like the magic and technology and the framework. It's actually goes back way further than what they were thinking. And I thought back to my favorite Final Fantasy out of the whole series, which is Final Fantasy IV, which was the American version, Final Fantasy II.
Right.
So this is the first RPG that I purchased. Okay, let me take that back. It's the first RPG I enjoyed for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, because I'm sure you had bought other ones that weren't that great.
At the time it came out, I bought my system. I could not get Final Fantasy II. I bought Draken for the PS2, Jesus, Super Nintendo. And then eventually I was able to get Final Fantasy II. Final Fantasy II, easily my favorite. When it first came out, as a friend's place, sleepover, high school, stayed up all fucking night playing the goddamn game. I don't think we finished it, but we came damn close in a single sitting. So I have played that game over and over again, probably, if not more, like as much as any other game that I played multiple times. And I know that game like backwards and forwards. No, Beard, yeah, we'll talk to you about that a little bit later, but I think you messaged him about that, right?
What's that?
Message Jay?
Jordan? Oh yeah, no, I didn't.
Okay.
Again, I didn't have a chance today, but that was because we had just talked last night. So.
We gotta get
again, overnight shifts. My sleep is fucked and everything, and my head is broken.
If you want to go ahead and broker that talk,
I mean, yeah, if you want to jump in on that too, have at it, because I'm busy.
I hereby deputize you as a digital fiasco deputy. Yes, to go forth and sally forth and whatnot. But otherwise, we'll have to get on that one way or the other. But so Final Fantasy II, this is the one that made the first jump to Super Nintendo. And actually, if you talk about Jackson and Daniel, they always talk about Final Fantasy VII as the one that's being iconic because it is the jump for them from Super Nintendo to PS1,
right?
Or 10 from PS1 to PS2, right? People seem to always remember that first one.
It's definitely comes down to an age group. Just like you're a bit older than I am, you love 2/4, whereas I did say a bit.
I know. No, I'm like
asterisk.
I'm okay with bit. We'll just say.
Yeah. I don't give away too much.
Anyway.
Anyways, so 2/4 is your favorite one.
Yeah.
Whereas 3/6 is my favorite one because that was my first deep dive into a Final Fantasy game and into JRPGs in general.
I still think that one is excellent. I didn't like the story as much, even though like definitely the whole world of
that's the whole thing is I love that twist right in the middle.
Awesome.
And,
hats off to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I just like the characters I was in love with in 4, right? The whole story about Cecil and he's like the Dark Knight, he becomes the Paladin, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I played that game like all the way through. I don't even know how many times. I was able at one time my time for finishing the game legitimately was I got to the end boss. 9 hours and 5 minutes was my last save.
Holy shit!
From beginning to end, from like brand new game, 9 hours and 5 minutes to the last boss. It took a long time to beat that last boss because I was fucking underpowered.
I was gonna say, yeah. Actually, I want to quickly look up a speed run of that.
I'm sure with glitches, it's probably like 2 hours or something shitty. But I played that one a lot. So here's the thing. I just found out, I think, it was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
There is a hack, not a hack, but a site that you will actually be able to load up your ROM. And of course, no one has ROMs; they're illegal.
Nope, of course,
blah blah blah.
We don't
if you
agree
were
with
to
any of
have,
that.
if you were to have a ROM of Final Fantasy II, the US version, a specific numbered version, you can load it up to this site. You pick a bunch of options, and it randomizes shit.
Okay.
So characters you pick up may show up in different places. Bosses that you fight may not be the bosses that you actually fight at that spot.
Okay.
But they will be like leveled so that they'll be level appropriate.
I was going to say, so it doesn't break the game
Right.
per se.
Well, it might a little bit, but you'll run into randomized monsters that are adjusted for the area you find them in. You might find gear way earlier in the game than you might otherwise.
Okay.
So, and if you find like, what's his name? Fusoya, he won't have his whole list of magic immediately until he does a certain thing and then blah.
Oh, okay.
So you don't even start the game necessarily as Cecil. You might start off with like a bard and your fucking ninja as your starting group, right? So you have Edge and you have, what's his name? What was the fucking bard's name?
Someone in the chat might know. I
You
don't remember.
Spoony Bard, whatever the fuck his name was. I don't remember. Tallarico.
Oh, and Davey Gaming, I totally agree. Glitches shouldn't be allowed in speedruns, or they should have like two
Yeah, there's two
separate
categories typically. They have glitched, they have like mechanically assisted, they have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know what the
Because I
categories
looked up 4, and you're
Yeah.
right. It's like the top like world speedrun for Final Fantasy 4
Yeah.
on Super Nintendo is like an hour and 34 minutes.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's like, how the fuck is that even possible? I wouldn't even get to the airship by that
They
point.
just glitch through the map and
yeah,
fall
probably.
on the boss's head and kill him instantly or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Ridiculous. Rub nutmeg in his eye and he's allergic to it, right, or something. So yeah, break a pot, fight an ultimate weapon.
Is that how it works? Is that
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I haven't played Final Fantasy 4 in a long time. Yeah, I don't remember the fucking.
Don't worry about it.
Edward, I think was the bard.
Edward the Spoony
I
Bard.
think it was. Pretty sure it was. Anyway, so I played it a lot, but yeah, I haven't played it in a long time. And since this new thing has come up, I kind of want to try this new version of the game because it remixes stuff. It kind of keeps it fresh a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, all your plot is like hacked out of the game. It's like it's mechanical going through and fighting enemies and
That is
bosses
kind of
with
neat.
different
It's
orders.
like, and that's the thing is with a lot of those old
Yeah.
games like that too. It is kind of fun to, even if it mechanically it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
You just impose certain rules on yourself to see if you can beat the game or just to make
Right.
it more interesting. It's kind of like Pokemon people that do like Nuzlocke challenges and stuff like that. Like it's changing the game in a way just to make it more challenging because you've played it so many times.
James Marine asks if there's any glitches to speed run the remainder of Call of Juarez.
Oh God!
I nearly choked my fucking water there. Yeah.
Yeah, Tron, I agree. I find it goes faster if I fall asleep or if I just don't play the fucking game.
Yeah. The only way to win is not to play. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Jesus
just,
Christ.
Oh, God damn it. Like, I love Call of Juarez, but holy shit, is that a terrible game.
Well, you love the first Call of Juarez games, the actual like
The first
Western
two,
style
yeah,
ones.
the first two, and then Gunfighter or Gunslinger it was pretty good. But yeah, the time traveling immortal cowboy nonsense, like so fucking bad. Anyway, so Final Fantasy IV in general, like from the plot aspect, from the mechanics of it, was a huge step up from the first one on the NES, which I found out like there was a 2 in between that we never even got
Yeah.
much later.
Exactly. That's why the
Right.
naming and numbering scheme's all fucked up and
And
everything
then
like that.
many years later, they did something amazing, and I didn't even find this out until like years later after the fact. The Final Fantasy IV, or the 2 that we got, was like the easy version of the game.
Oh, okay.
They made the game way easier for North America, or we got the version that was way easier. When you got the PS1 version on Final Fantasy Chronicles or Final Fantasy, whatever the other compilation was, collection, I think. Was the other one.
Yeah.
You got the original ultra hard version
Oh, okay.
from Japan, and man, did that make it fresh again because the game was tough. It's tough as fuck. So 9 hours and 5 minutes, not a goddamn chance. Yeah, I still go back to that one over and over again over the years, and out of all of them, it ranks like, if not the best, right up there. So, anyway.
Yep. And one other quick question about that. So that like really hard version of it.
Yeah.
Can you do the same thing where you upload your game and like have
No,
it fuck with it,
no.
or it's just
It's the Super Nintendo
It's the Super Nintendo one. Okay.
Yeah, like I don't think you need to for that one. You don't. It's tough enough. Like it has a lot of. Extra
Oh, and David
shit in
Gaming says that's the version he first time he played, so he's surprised at how hard it was. So
the first version you played was the PS1 version.
I think that's what he's referring to.
Because it was tough. Like 6 was not as hard as the original version of 4.
Six was forgiving enough that as long as you didn't race through the game, you didn't fuck yourself over. But it definitely had its challenges.
Excited to see more Last of Us 2. Well, of course.
Yeah, no, people have been commenting about E3 throughout the whole chat, so that's fine. It's come up. Yeah, and we're super stoked. Any information coming up on it and everything like that, we're super excited to see it. And of course, you'll be here for your live reaction. So you'll be jumping off the couch with us if they announce anything or show anything. So
do you think they're actually going to show us some? I mean, they said they're going to show us a trailer, but
I think we're getting gameplay.
I could see that.
I think we're gonna get like a little snippet of gameplay of like a little tiny encounter in a little enclosed place, so they have everything under control.
Okay, so
just to wet our whistles for more.
Okay, we're gonna go into our predictions in front of the actual show, but since it came up, The Last of Us 2, how far out do you think they actually are?
I think we're going to get it next year.
Next fall.
Well, when did the first one come out?
First one came out
because I find that really popular games like that, they tend to follow a trend of trying to release around the same window that they did the last time.
I'm pretty sure it was 2012. It was in like the fall or summer of 2012.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say September 2019 or something like that. Like around
that would make sense.
It gives them lots more time to work things out, make sure it's the best fucking game that it can be, which I'm not saying it won't be because they're going to do a fucking stellar job on it anyways.
Right.
Yeah. And Ichigo, of course, Jack's so not hot on it, but Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm very excited to see more information on it.
It's only because I don't know, right?
Because we've seen all the, the Toy Story world and all that kind of stuff, but I would love to see even just a taste of another one of the worlds now. Like, it doesn't even have to be one of the new ones. I just want to see, more of the game at this point.
One of these days, I'm going to sit down. Yeah, June 14th, that was the remastered one. What was the original one? Must have been the year before. But anyway, I mean, one of these days I'm going to sit down. I have like the first 3 games.
Right, yeah.
Or they're not the first 3, but they're the chronologically or whatever.
Yeah. Janice Marine, we are not going to see in Death Stranding gameplay. I would love to. I don't think we're going to see it.
I think we're going to see some, but we're not going to
get that little snippet of gameplay.
Well, I mean, just like we did now, right? Like, they always got to throw Death Stranding out there just to fuck with us.
Yeah.
So
remind you that it's still there, even though we know we're waiting. Ichigo, I don't think we're going to see any Metroid Prime 4. Unfortunately, we had a title. We had a title at last E3. Like, it was Metroid Prime 4. That was it. Like,
who is it? We talked about this like 3 weeks ago. It's not even Retro that's doing it. Who the fuck is it? It's like Namco.
Yeah.
It's like Namco that's doing it. It's
new
weird.
Pokemon game.
Oh yeah.
Outside of their Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee,
apparently there's another one coming out next year, some kind of quest game. Apparently.
Well, there you go. I mean, Nintendo's always weird that way. You never really know what they're gonna throw at you,
but
not throw at you.
Back on Death Stranding. I mean, that's one of those ones. Who the fuck knows? That could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's like, it could be next year, it could be like 3 years from now.
It's Kojima. He's done when he's done.
Yeah. No.
The Nintendo presser is actually going to be on the Wednesday following all of the other ones. As usual, they're going to be fucking weirdos about it. So
Tuesday, I think.
Oh, was it Tuesday? Oh, sorry. Yes, Tuesday. It was after all the other ones.
It's the 12th.
Yeah.
So the 11th is Monday. So yeah.
That's the Nintendo one is, they got to do their own weird thing, so they're going to go after everyone else.
That's what it is. It's like released is that correct? That doesn't seem right.
Well, don't worry about it. We got to wrap up.
All right, we'll look it up later, but it looks like I knew it was released just before the PS4, but I thought it was like the year before, because I remember The Last of Us Remastered came out very early.
It did, yeah.
So maybe it was like...
Because I bought the PS3 version, and then my brother-in-law bought the PS4 version.
No, I bought the PS3 version, and I re-bought the PS4 version, because that game, even the fucking soundtrack, just chills up the spine. All right. So that is our show for today, folks. If you like what we do, please share this show, share our links with your friends and your fellow gamers. We are happy to hear from you.
Where's your glass shattering? You got to follow that up. There you go.
I saved that for
it
pun
floated
passes.
to the floor very slowly.
I saved that for the pun passes on Tuesdays. But if you like what we do here, please reach out to us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your predictions are for E3. You can reach us at Twitter at digital_fiasco, or you can reach out to us on our website at digitalfiasco.wtf. We'd love to hear from you, even if you think that Devil May Cry 5 should be a direct continuation of Devil May Cry 2, and fuck the storyline. Who the hell cares?
They broke it. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
I mean, I don't even know what they're going to do. They should just start over again, reboot the whole fucking thing. Just DMC2. Just go on from there. Stone Cold, no.
It was just glass breaking. There was nothing else after.
Anyway, all right. So tune in tomorrow. Comic Sans. I think it's going to be Albel and Clayton again.
Is it? Okay.
So
it's an ever-rotating stable of people on that show now.
it's either going to be Albel and Clayton or it's going to be Albel and me. I don't even fucking know. But we'll talk about stuff. We'll argue about stuff, and there'll be sound effects because that's
all the awesome nerd news and movie news.
I don't fucking know.
All right.
Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time, Comic Sans. It'll be awesome. I'm sure they'll be arguing about Westworld or some shit. All right. Until then, thank you for watching us tonight. We've been Digital Fiasco Live episode 30. I am Jack McBastard.
And I'm Dandr0id.
If you stick around for a second, we're going to find someone local to host and pass the love forward. Until tomorrow, have a good night, folks.
See ya.